Kev, is because they were so like the Super Suckers almost. They were just this like rockabilly, crazy, get wasted band. It's so fun, so fun. Pork Tornado.
I got a tape when they started. Somebody sent me a bootleg, so I had a tape of them.
Yeah, yeah. JMP, man, they blasted a show. Jamie Macefield, right? Is it the mandolin player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell of a
And
player.
that's the thing. It was jazz mandolin, like his name.
Yeah, that's true. Jamie Macefield project.
Oh yeah, we're rolling.
Oh yeah, we're rolling.
Hey,
Hit it! So fucking typical, I don't know what to do. I'm on the scotch, I'm feeling kind of woo. Think you're scary, but I don't know what to do. Got a jaboo, cuckoo, ka-choo.
Hey!
So fucking typical, I don't know what to do. I'm on the scotch, I'm feeling kind of woo. Think you're scary, but I don't know what to do. Got a jaboo, cuckoo, ka-choo. Hey!
Welcome
Week 10.
back. Welcome back to week 10 of the lot, episode 10. It's actually week 11.
10,
we took a
10,
week off,
10.
but
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
episode 10 of the lot. Hey guys, how's everything going?
Woo!
Nice, nice.
yes.
Am I allowed to woo again? Is wooing a thing again?
Yeah,
Can we do
Woong's
that?
Woong's fine. Woong's back on.
Woo!
You know, I used to
So-
love our theme song coming in, but now after spending the last couple days with it in that edit, I've started to like get it back into the neutral zone. Now it's gone. Love this song too.
I
Okay,
want to
now I've
talk
heard it
about
a
that
million
edit too, but
times.
first I kind of wanted to take an opportunity, and I didn't give you guys a heads up about this because I wanted it to kind of be sincere and don't want to start off on low energy, but I was thinking a lot this week about how grateful I am for the five of you. And I know this is like a public live show, but I think, you know, this far into the pandemic and quarantine and life in 2020, you know, it's almost become a new normal, and like, I don't know, take it for granted, but it's not been easy, right? There's been a lot of shit going on, and I was reflecting, and I just really quick wanted to thank you guys publicly, because if it weren't for the five of you, I don't know how I'd be holding it together, and you guys have helped me immensely through these tough times, and I'm looking forward to keep rocking with you guys. So
We're gonna keep on rocking in
anyway,
the freeway.
Oh my god.
now that
Well,
I got
thank you.
that out of
Thank
the
you,
way.
Tim. Tim, that
Thank
was
you,
very
Tim.
kind.
Thanks.
That was very kind.
And it's
That was-
true. It's from the heart. I appreciate that, man.
You know,
And it's
next
true.
time
After
you're gonna do
finishing
something
this
like that,
thing-
give us a heads up, though. Just saying, you know?
Yeah,
that
because
was
I
a
would have
surprise.
shaved so you could see
Like,
my
yeah, I would have I would have had something. Like, I would have put on a tie.
Got me flowers or something.
Yeah, or all that stuff. But no, thank you, Tim.
So luckily we have a nice transition, because pretty much all of you worked your asses off this last week on this super dope promo
that
which I know
Tom
we just
Marshall liked.
Tom Marshall liked it.
Thank
Thank
you,
God,
Tom.
right? That could have gone horribly
Horrible.
awry. Like,
Praise
if he
for
decided
Caesar.
not to like it,
He was like, "Fuck you guys." That
It's only
Got
Yeah,
that
you want me
cease
to-
and desist.
are you
How
guys
about
cool
cease
if I
and
just
desist
share
letter?
it?
Yeah, just share it.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
you're doing great. You're doing great, Wook.
Hey,
You're
man.
just absolutely nailing
I just
it.
told you how much I love
you know, it's a
guys.
pleasure to work with you, and like,
And I
the
take it back.
efficiency That. All right, here we go.
Day 555. Stranded. Alone. Absent of mind. When I set out to become the lot and go dirtier than Wook in my crew, it nearly killed me. Wookery has taken over. Our van struck a pole while searching for even more Wooks. In the debauchery on the lot, we were indeed too far from sober. I have subsisted on grilled cheese, tofu wraps, balloons, and goo balls. I know there is more Wookery out in the lot, if only Wooks were on their way.
Hit it! So fucking typical, I don't know what to do. I'm on the scotch, I'm feeling kind of woo. Think you're scary, but I don't know what to do. Gotta jaboo, cuckoo, ka-choo. Hey!
Where is the lot, anyway?
All right, I want to point out one thing.
All right.
The one thing that we did in that video that Osiris didn't do in theirs is the sound of the doink off the head of the volleyball. And I
like
four
it.
takes. It took 4 takes.
Oh no, and we will put out the outtakes of the ball.
We have to.
Travis sent us a video of the outtakes of the ball missing his head, and it was really funny. But like, and then I scoured the internet looking for like what's a good doink sound effect. And
yeah, you couldn't go too over the top, right? It had to be like the perfect.
Yeah,
sound.
it had to be like a thud. I didn't want it to be like a kickball doink. Like I wanted.
You didn't want
to
an
be like,
echo.
Yeah, right. I wanted it to be a thud, and I found
WWE's Doink the Clown.
Thanks, Llama. What are you doing today, buddy?
Doink.
I'm hanging in there, man.
All right, man.
I like
Hey,
your
you guys did a
Echo's
great.
Tim thing though. I want to say though that to Echo's Tim thing, making this thing come home. It was a team. Like it was fun working with everybody. Like went out and shot it and edited it, but I needed that final push with Chad. The audio sounds amazing. Tim added in the graphics at the end. Like it was a full Llama script. Matt's VO.
Kevin's
cheerleading.
emotional
It was a full crew. Like it really was. And I'm thankful for all you guys for helping me because like, this is the kind of shit we need to do in quarantine when you can't do anything else. So it's nice to have you guys around and you inspire me. And obviously Tom inspires us. And
if you haven't seen Osiris's, I would go and look at that video because this is good on its own. But we should release them maybe side by side. When you look at them back to back, that's when I think it really came together.
All love to Osiris and Tom Marshall, and thank you guys for being cheerleaders of us, and thank you guys for like being good sports when we make fun of you a little bit.
It was done out of love. It was all love.
It was all love.
I have one question about this.
Okay, here we go. It's on now.
Okay, I just want to say, like, can we get Kev the associate producer role on his Wook resume for this? Okay, good. I just wanted to get that in there for my buddy Kev.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, associate producer, the great went.
I'll put on my associate producer hat.
Wait, this is a new feature. Associate producer hat?
That's great. Produce it. Produce it good.
So in addition to that badass promo that you guys put together, we've also been busy with the blog. We have the Daily Dose was a new feature we released last week. Awesome. We've had the daily blurbs for the American Rock Band bracket, which have been great. I believe we're gonna have a piece come out tomorrow about Chalk Dust Torture, right? We did Matt, you did a little interview with, I forget his name, but the guy who produced Picture of Nectar.
Yes. So Kevin Halpin is his name. He produced Picture of Nectar. And so we'd always had a question about Chalk Dust Torture and the lyrics, and the vocals of Chalk Dust Torture and what happened.
Yeah,
there.
why it sounds the way.
Why? And there's been a lot of, exactly. And so there's been a lot of rumors and been a lot of innuendo out there about what it could be that made those vocals be what they are. So we were like, hey, let's give it a shot, talk to the man in the room. And we were able to get him and talk to him. And we got lots more stories from him and lots more coming. So yeah.
So that'll be up on the blog soon. And we have a couple other things in the works. So if you haven't yet, go and check out wookplus.com, spelled out wookplus.com. All our videos are up there too. Anything else we need to plug? Get the plugs out of the way because we got a crazy
support.
episode.
We got bracket support coming back tomorrow.
Hey, by the way, guys, man, the guest hosts on the weekend.
The weekend crew, man.
The weekend crew killed it with bracket support live.
I like that balance between the Llama T Saturday and the Fam Kev Sunday. Like that was a cool weekend. Plus, I like having those 2 days off.
Yeah. Actually, 3 days when you count Monday. Yeah. But it's kind of funny because my screen, I don't know how it looks on YouTube right now, but my screen is lined up with me and Wook at the top, Llama and Trav in the middle, and then Fam and Kev there too. So it's like we're all kind of in our teams, in our corners.
Yeah, that's not how it is on YouTube.
No,
it's
probably not.
Me, Kev, Llama on the top, and then Matt, T, Chad on the bottom. But
well, you know what? Then
it's cool though. Zoom, man. This is only the 10th episode we've done. and the however many bracket supports.
What are we doing, guys?
I don't know.
We're really gonna do a 2.5 hour show every Tuesday before fish, dinner, and a movie. We're really gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
We're pushing season 2. We've almost got a full season.
I thought that was going to be an ad for season 2 we were working on.
And think about, again, if we keep getting amazing guests like we're getting, whether people are watching or not, which again, I think people are, and I thank you for if you are, but if we're getting to meet some really cool people, mom's out there, our families are definitely watching at least, but we're getting to meet some amazing, cool people again today.
So true.
Again
we
today,
have Andy
same story.
Gadiel, Tamara Holder, and Benjy Eisen coming up tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it keeps going.
Might as well. We haven't even started asking people back yet, which is, I still have questions from the last time people were on that I want to get back.
I know.
So I think we're good.
I know.
As long
me
as
too.
They let us until the network pulls the plug on us. We're here.
Do we want to do? Oh no! You know what? No, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it
you
for
can.
when.
I'm always gonna say no.
When Tamara is on, because she was Matt. Help me with this. She did sports a little bit, right?
100%. Yeah, she did a show called Sports Court, which I'm excited to ask her. She's a lawyer. Sports Court, amazing.
Like what?
So who you got, Chad? Who you got?
Do you really want to do this now?
Yes, let's do it.
Before the guests come on.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to spare them.
Okay, well, I'll tie this in because I opened a new pack tonight because I wanted to see if there was a Ruby or a Waves in there, like somebody with the name Ruby or Waves because of tonight's show. Unfortunately, I did not find one, but I found this is funny because I found it's probably a very problematic name until you know what position he plays. So his name is Johnny Grabowski. Like that sounds like a name you would give your bro in the bar if like he was a little too touchy-feely. Like, hey, look at old Johnny Grabowski over there.
We know Johnny Grabowski.
Johnny Grabowski over
Minnesota.
There. Yeah, right. But Johnny Grabowski was a New York Yankees catcher. So the last name Grabowski, Grabowski, is a catcher. So
just
there you
makes
go.
Sense.
Johnny Grabowski, 1927 Yankees. Here you go.
That is nice. Fam, I got one for you. Where is he? There he is.
Oh, it's tough to see, but I knew I seen a Royal. Okay. Sabes. The 85 Royals. You can't beat Sabes, man. He's one of the greats of all time. God bless you, Trav.
I have Jim Morrison of the Detroit Tigers.
Jim Morrison.
Did he break on through to the other side in that season?
After his musical career, he successfully transitioned to baseball.
Chad, you should have asked me if we were going to keep doing this after the baseball card bit, because it changes my answer completely.
So what you got, fam?
Oh, I just have this. I have this Cal Ripken. Nice. Yeah, I got this little. So this is the only probably card I have in like a nice case, but it's a Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card. Don Russ, 82. Man. Yeah, and that's for you, Kev. I know you're a Baltimore guy, an Oriole guy.
A feat that'll never be repeated.
An incredible player. He's very fish-like in a way, I think. Just a workman. Just kept playing, kept going, kept touring.
He hit into more double plays than anybody ever, but he also played more games than anybody ever. So.
Exactly.
What a great stat.
That is a great stat.
Right. Who hit? No, that's a great bar trivia question. Like, who hit into the most double plays of all time?
Yeah.
Cal
that's one of those stats that you wouldn't be able to easily disprove either.
Right.
Right.
Right. You can say anybody at that point, and you'd be, I'll be damned.
But I brought We're Not Alone. That's Close Encounters.
What? Some movie cards. I remember the old. I had some ET cards. I had some old Spielberg cards. Yeah, Close Encounters. Nice.
See, Tim, it's not all baseball.
Yeah, that makes it so much better.
Yeah.
It's our highest rated segment.
Wook, the week you bring any card, we're on show 10, week 11, and Wook has yet to bring a card to the lot.
And the
somebody
bit
needs
has
to mail
lasted
him
every
one.
week. That's the more impressive thing. The bit lasts every week.
Oh yeah,
you started that week one, right? You and Llama.
Yeah,
Chad?
yeah.
Mom and Chad got it.
You know what I do bring every week?
How come you're not on board?
I bring my awesome personality and some badass guests.
He brings the guests with him. He does.
But how hard is it to reach behind you and pick up a pack of cards? You have baseball
I don't have cards.
right?
I never collected cards.
We're mailing you
comics.
Yeah, we're mailing you
cards.
some. We're
mailing you a
go
pack.
on Amazon.
Yeah.
You can buy a pack for like $20, and it's like 100 cards. You'll have them for the next 5 seasons of the lot.
We'll see. Maybe if I remember to take care of that. I was thinking next week. I mean, we never really hashed this out. Maybe we shouldn't do it live, but I was thinking next week we should just have like, I don't know, 10, 15 people call in and just have like a really, fun party style episode instead of like focusing on in-depth interviews. Just hang out and shoot the show. People get different
season
perspectives.
1 finale? Is this the season 1 finale? I like it.
Bring back some guests.
And also, do we do in-depth interviews? I mean, is that
Tom
like
Marshall's
is that our
interview
wheelhouse?
was fairly in depth.
We have breaking news all the time.
Breaking Biden, we got into it with a bit, right?
Goats.
I suppose. Yeah, we had goats. That's true. That's in depth.
People come on here and talk, and they're like, "I shouldn't be saying
come
this."
Back
but
to the party episode. You have to have party goats.
Yeah,
definitely.
And we should probably do a season recap for season 1. A little video.
Do you want to edit that? Maybe we should actually edit.
I think I just volunteered for it.
I think you
just
did.
Happened.
We all saw how great you did.
We should do that. I should probably do
that. What the hell was that?
That was a goat.
It was a bird.
Oh no! Is Kev gonna be doing sound effects tonight?
Kev?
I have an app that has a goat that all it does is make a goat scream.
Do it again.
Do it. This is a mistake.
Is it?
Oh, hey. We have our first guest.
Thank God.
Thank goodness.
Save us.
Woo.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Starting forward for your lot today, he is the co-founder of Jambase, a board member of Headcount and the Rex Foundation. Let's hear it for Fish Internet OG, Andy Gadiel.
Hey
guys.
Welcome. Welcome.
Greatest
to the
intro I've ever received. That was amazing.
Well, it's when you told us too about always thinking of it as a intro for a basketball team. It's perfect. It lined up great.
Well, I grew up in Chicago, and when the Bulls would get introduced, they'd play "Eye in the Sky." You know, at the beginning of that was "And now" the starting lineup. And whenever Fish would play "Punch You in the Eye," I'd always think, "And now the starting lineup."
Every time they play it, I'm going to be thinking of Fam's VO of introducing you.
Yeah, it's funny, Andy. I'd already done the intro, and when you mentioned, "Hey, I already thought of the basketball intro," I immediately was like, "Okay, I'm doing a basketball intro now." So I immediately was like, "I'm changing that. We got to have some fun with this one."
Have fun, guys. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me on your show. Great to
Thanks for coming on
before the show.
I love your
hanging out on the line.
Sorry, I love your T-shirt, Andy. Is that the couch?
Yeah, this is actually I think it was a Fishnet Mockingbird fundraiser many years ago, and I try to bust it out weekly depending on laundry day. It's worked out so far.
Right on.
Yeah, you mentioned the picture behind you. What's it from? Where's the lot?
This is a picture actually from Deer Creek '95, and that's me. Hey, hold on, I gotta move over this way. That's me.
Oh, very nice.
Before going into my first show, right?
Oh, cool.
Look at young Andy there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So Andy, we have to be honest. We're been
fanboys.
We are fanboys. We're huge fanboys. Like at least 3 of us, like we're addicted to your webpage on Netscape and all that stuff back in the 90s. Like we were refreshing it. Look at what Fam's got up in the corner there.
There it is.
There it is. Like
it still looks like that, I think.
refresh it saying, why isn't there a set list yet? Where's the set list? Why hasn't he posted a set list yet?
Because you didn't call me with the set list.
Right.
There you go.
Is that how it worked for shows you couldn't go to? People you had your scouts out that would call you?
Yeah, if you look back at the set lists that are still there, somewhere on the page, you can go to different years, like 95 to 99, I think. Below each one, I try to thank whoever it was that called or texted, or if I got it from some other place. So yeah, people would call during set break from the payphone. My buddy Scott Boyarski, CK5 would call collect. And I remember getting a call after a bunch of the fall '97 shows. My roommate D-Bomb would call, and then the night they played Terrapin Station as the encore in Virginia Beach '98, I got the call and everyone was crying. It was bittersweet not being there, but hearing about it and getting to share it with people so quickly right after the show. Nowadays, you can watch it live or you get tweets as it's happening.
And other than the people that were at the show, is it fair to say you were always the first one to know what they played? Is that a fair question? Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, fair or not, I don't know that it's completely accurate. I mean, I would hear about it from other people, and depending on the show, I mean, some folks would connect with me, some folks would connect with the Fishnet, kind of wherever it was, we were sharing it. I would find out about it. I always like to say Mikey Perot is the guy who would run the mailing list that I was on, that for some reason people on Rec Music Fish weren't on, and they couldn't figure out how to get on it. So I would just republish the set lists from there and just share the information.
Did you know that Tom was trolling on Rec Music Fish? Tom Marshall. What was do any of you guys remember what he went by, his handle? He said he told us.
Jasmine.
Oh yeah, he went by Jasmine. Did you know that?
I don't know that I knew that.
Oh,
it doesn't sound like a shocking revelation, but I don't remember what I know.
No, we were just saying though, Kev and I and Fam too. Fam used to sit in the library at school and refresh your page constantly. And Kev and I remember for myself, speaking personally, like I would refresh until I got the set list. Then I would imagine what it was like in my head. And then that would make me decide whether I wanted to go like deep into Rec Music Fish and look for blanks and postage. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like so man, thank you so much for the work you did. That's awesome.
Any show I could get, I went on to Rec Music Fish. I was like, all right,
you got the
tapes. No, I was like, all right, it's been like 3 weeks. Somebody has to be doing a tree or something on this right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's my I mean, I'm a big fan, and I just wanted to know as well, and I wanted to share it. So I just happened to have computer lab access at the time.
It's so amazing how it all grew, though. You had that page, and then now it's Jam Base and all that. Would you say it was an organic growth out of that?
Completely organic. And your guest tonight, Benjy, is apropos because he was part of it. That organic growth. He's a big contributor over the years. I mean, people would contribute to the Fish page when they knew something that they didn't see, and they assumed that I didn't know, whether it was news or set lists or tour announcements or hiatus over was a big day. Whenever the news would be known and you didn't see it on the page, you would say, "Oh, Andy must not know," an email, and then I'd put it up. And in the same vein, like other bands playing around Fish, at the Deer Creek campground, Humphreys McGee played in 1997 or 98, was it? And they wanted to promote those shows, and so they'd tell me, people would be like, "Hey, if people go into Fish want to see this other music," and I would list those other shows.
Would the bands themselves, the management call you, or the bands call you, or was it just other fans?
I think it was fans and me just kind of getting into other bands at the time, and it grew organically. And then I started linking to the band's official websites, even when they weren't touring, and people would suggest other bands that I might be interested in. And there's a whole long list of bands that are out there. that kind of formed the basis for that first set of links. And then, I'm thinking, well, how am I supposed to know when any of these bands are coming to town unless I go to all their official web pages every day? And that turned into a database, which ultimately turned into Jambase. But there was a lot of contributions along the way, and a lot of ideas that were flown out that were explored.
How much, like when you started the website, like how much of your daily life did it absorb? Like 12 hours a day, 8 hours, like how long did it take you to
I think like 3 hours and 37 minutes a day.
Oh, exactly. Wow. You had that number. That's great.
I think it was, well, it started as a school project. Here's the internet in 1995. Save, as Tom Marshall was like, save a file on a computer and you can look at it on another computer. It's a revelation. Right. And at school, they gave you a project, make your page. So you make Andy's page. Everyone gets their own page. And it was just something you played with every day, and you tinkered and you built on it. And then because it was connected, people found it and could reach you if your email was there. And it was every day was some level of checking in and updating and playing with it and just honing it in and making sure that at any moment when you went to it, it represented kind of what's the latest information, what's happening right now that I'd want to know about. And I think in the heart of it, I remember like in like fall 97, I think every night I'd say like, Fish is playing tonight in Denver, and they're playing 2 nights in Champaign. And then, then I'd update it. Like, okay, they played last night in Champaign, here's the set list, and they're playing tonight in Hampton. So I would, while they were on tour in the late 90s, I kept it fairly well updated with whatever was happening at that moment.
So what are you doing nowadays? There's a lot of things that I know.
Out with you,
I know you are in the past, but
we're on the lab, baby.
Are you still very, very involved with Jambase, or was that kind of like moved on and other people are running things? I know you're the board member of a couple of things too.
Yeah, so I'm still involved as a board member of Jambase. The current crew that's running it, Davo and Scotty B and crew, are doing a great job keeping it going, and they're moving it in the right direction. And I love supporting them and keeping that positive, especially in this time when live music is scarce, and it's really about connecting people in the community through the streams or through other shows that are going on. And so they're trying to stay on top of it. And I give
they were nice enough. They were nice enough to give us a little press for one of the story times. Yeah,
that's so awesome. Kind. Yeah, we love Scotty and love Jambase. Like that's our go-to, as you know.
It's great, and it's great that it's continuing to blossom in that way. And I'm also on the board of the Rex Foundation, which is the nonprofit organization that was started by the Grateful Dead, and to give money to the other nonprofits in environmental and social causes. And that continues to do great work supporting artists, supporting organizations that support artists. And so rexfoundation.org, there's a lot of information out there on all the great causes that it supports. And then I'm also involved with Headcount. I'm on the board of Headcount. Hopefully everybody knows Headcount.
Yeah, that's a big one this year.
Yeah. No kidding.
Oh yeah, Headcount.
How are you guys working getting people to sign up without being able to do the in-person stuff?
Well, so there's a lot's gone virtual, and a lot of it about voter registration and information. So you go to headcount.org, and it's a whole portal of voting info, vote by mail issues, or even getting into links about candidates and understanding local elections. And so check that out as well, headcount.org. There's never been a more important time to make your voice heard, and especially.
I just want to put an exclamation point on that local elections thing. People, we don't vote every 4 years. You vote every time there's a damn election. You just go and vote. It's fun.
School board, gotta vote for the school board.
You gotta like educate yourself. It's not that hard. We have the internet. We have all this information now. We have Headcount that will link you to information. I'm assuming like, there's plenty of places to like learn about who is on your ballot, and there's no reason to not vote. And I really hope that we'd be safe and like voting by mail. Not a bad idea, guys. Come on, we can do it.
It's like tickets by mail. We used to get good tickets by mail. Why not vote by mail? I mean, I feel like it's all
man, except they got shut out in tickets by mail, man.
I used to have to fill out those index cards for the dead when they did the tickets by mail. You had the index card.
Of course.
That was a way better system.
Coloring the envelope.
Yeah, at least Fish had the little piece you cut out of the newsletter that you could mail in. You filled out the little thing with your address and marked how many tickets and
the Doniak Schweiss.
Yes, I can't pronounce it, so that's fine.
About that.
Yeah, we were taught. You say Doniak? I'm going to refer to you. I'm going to defer to you.
I've
always said Doniak.
I don't know how to pronounce. Don't ask me how to pronounce anything.
But Andy.
I don't know.
But Andy.
No, but
Gadiel.
We need you on this one. We really did.
Really need you.
I read it. I don't talk to people. I just read it. Right. I just sounded it out.
You never heard anybody say the name. You got it in the mail,
Exactly. What are they saying? And you enjoy myself. I have no idea.
I was going to say it's typical Fish. Like they just make something that you can't really pronounce, so you can't really talk about it. And
all right, Andy, how do you pronounce the first Fish album?
Will figure it out. I'll do that.
There you go. Nice.
What was the question, Sir Wook?
How do you pronounce the first Fish album?
Junta, which has no meaning in Nicaragua. Or
what
does he say? Junta, which was their buddy. Yeah.
So hard J, soft U.
What about? Hold on.
I'm less concerned about the pronunciation of the album and more about the appreciation for how good it is. As their first album. I mean, Divided Sky, David Bowie.
Come on. YM.
Esther. Yeah. I mean, come on.
It's insane.
And on cassette. Anyone got it on cassette? I know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe?
I had it on cassette.
I had the second album on cassette.
How about the white tape? Did anybody have that on cassette?
I had a boot of it.
Yeah, I had a boot of it at one point, but it wasn't until they retired the first time that I actually came across it.
Did you have you couch toured tonight's show, Andy?
Or we're at it?
I was not there. My brother was there. Shout out to the Big A. He loved it. I heard they played Ruby Waves, maybe? Is that
so? You haven't heard it? Have you heard it?
I have heard it. I've heard it. I do a lot of couch touring. I'm a fan
of the Ruby Waves that night. There's a lot of people back and forth on the
Fish in general.
On the Ruby Waves.
What show is this that I'm on? Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Ruby.
Start.
I don't know that I've given it the in-depth kind of listening that maybe you're used to, but I'll definitely give it my attention tonight. I remembered at the time as being remarkable, and so here we are talking about it, which is important.
Right. I think the whole wedding stick is an even better thing.
Oh, right. You know what? I didn't watch it live.
Right.
Because I think I may have actually been at a show, and I should have researched this prior to coming on. I'll find out later, and we'll fill
That's
it in.
all right. We're not that
but I might have been like
do anything like that.
It was getting to the point where when the Fish webcast was keeping me from going out and actually seeing another show is when I drew the line. I was like, no, I'm gonna go see live music when I could. And so this was one of those nights, and then I think I came back later and all the hubbub about, oh my God, they're still playing Ruby Waves. Okay. Great.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at how passionate fans became about that jam. Like, I think it is a phenomenal jam, but I think there were other jams that tour even that were exceptional. And, throughout 3.0, I don't know that it was the best jam, let alone the whole history of the band. But for whatever reason, I think that was one of the jams that resonated the most over the last 10 years with fans. I mean, like, we do the brackets, right? Like, I do the jam brackets, and I've never, out of anything I've ever talked about online, seen more fiery pushback than Ruby Waves losing a matchup. Like, they're super fired up about it.
I think, it's not just about how long it was, but the different contours and the levels that they went through during it, and that it never really got boring, and it never meandered and petered, and then it didn't also cut short. They kind of played it out to its natural progression. And I say all this having previously said I fully haven't absorbed it, but I'm sort of channeling the fanaticism about it. I mean, it's kind of like the Tahoe Tweezer is regarded as so great because it was.
I would take the Tahoe Tweezer over Ruby Waves, probably.
Okay. Is that have they gone head to head? Have they gone head to head in a bracket?
Yeah, Ruby Waves won, I think.
Wow.
But see, actually, Tweezer Pants, I think the Tweezer Caspian won it all.
From the Magnaball?
Yeah.
See, I was there on couch during that first set with my buddy JP and Tim, and we were all over it. And we were freaking out at home. And I think from a home webcast perspective, it doesn't always resonate, obviously, at the analog level or the bass vibrations. I don't have the big subwoofer. So it's like, obviously, nowhere near as close to being there. But that one, we just they dropped the mic on the first set. And we were like, oh, wow, it's on. That was incredible. So I definitely have a memory. It's funny when you have a memory of being at a webcast.
Yeah,
right. I got a conspiracy theory about the Ruby Waves.
All right, Here we go.
They released the Between Me and My Mind movie the next week, and Trey says that line in it about Ruby Waves. This song's going nowhere. So the week before, they did a 38-minute Ruby Waves as a kind of joke for the movie that came out a week later.
Okay,
intentional or not, it works. It might have been a subconscious conspiracy. Which is
you go with subconscious conspiracy. I like that.
Which is the name of my band that's playing later. I was at on July 14th, 2019. I was actually at Terrapin Crossroads seeing Reed Mathis and friends with.
Do you live up there? I'm sorry, in Marin County.
I do. I live in San Rafael.
Jealous. I'm so jealous.
Terrapin is a gift. It's obviously very sad right now with everything being closed. But it was, more than just a venue. It was really a community gathering spot. You could pop in there anytime.
Yeah. Do you have a spare bedroom and means of employment for me? Because I fell in love with Marin when I was up there. I went to Terrapin too. And Phil's just sitting there. You can walk up to Phil Lesh. And just
we call it Marin, by the way.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't want to correct no, I should know that. I should know that before I sleep on your couch. I should know that it's Marin.
The first step, Chad.
What's it? Yeah,
it's been. I moved to where I am 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden, Terrapin opens not far from here, and it's like, what is happening? And it's been wonderful. It's an incredible place. I've seen some awesome shows there. The bar is really
it's amazing.
Cool.
The second I stepped, I saw them on 4th of July last year. Phil and his band played outside, and the second I stepped in that bar, it was a really weird thought. It was like, I want to work here. I want to be a bartender behind the bar, or I want to it just feels like a place that you would want to be a part of.
It's funny you say that, because when it opened, I was kind of transitioning out of jam bass at the time of day to day. And so going to Terrapin and the people that worked at Terrapin, this is fun. It's Deadhead Land-ish, and there's Deadhead Land guys there all the time. And I was like, yeah, I used to work at jam bass every day, which is you're sort of surrounded by it. So when I went there, I decided early on, I was like, I'm just going to be a fan. I don't want to get involved in any of the inside info, or I don't want to know. I just want to be able to come as a fan and enjoy the shows and have it be a neighborhood bar. And that's been a blessing as part of it. Oh, you guys are making me nostalgic for.
I know. I'm sorry.
For the third dimension. Everything's two-dimensional right now. We're living on our computers.
Yeah, I know.
We're all Zoomers.
This whole thing even started very much as tongue-in-cheek, because couch tour, let's do couch a lot. And I'm super grateful for it. And I'm especially talking to guys like you and all the different guests we have. But there's a weird part to it, right? It's that third dimension means so much, and miss
I also
that.
think you're creating community, and the thing about the webcasts, the Tuesday nights, even though the band isn't playing live, people are coming together in this format, like we're all hanging out, or I'm texting with friends during the show, like last week during the 89 show, like, oh my God, Machine Gun Trey, this is so sick. And you're connecting with people about something that is older and not happening right now, but you're doing it in real time. And so it's without the ability to actually go out and interact for all of our care and safety. It's been a bit of a silver lining to it, is that they've been putting out material that we otherwise wouldn't have seen, or that's been sitting in the vault for far too long. I mean, they put out the Deer Creek 95 show, which I was at, which I had never seen any video footage since.
Right.
Like nothing's on YouTube, or wasn't. I only had it up here barely, but man, that David Bowie.
Did it hold up to your memories?
Completely.
That's awesome.
Like everything made sense of the last 25 years.
That's why I'm in this situation.
That's why I listened to the show so much, but I didn't realize that Trey was wearing crazy pants and Fishman didn't have a dress that night. And like,
wasn't crazy.
There were all these.
Yeah.
They were. I mean, it was. That show was so great. So after this photo was taken, we walked to the front gate, and we
that was at Deer Creek.
Yeah, we were so psyched because we had gotten there kind of early, and we had lawn seats because we were newbie Wooks, and we got to the gate, and we were all ready to go in. There was like no line. We're like, oh, this is awesome. We're gonna get a great seat. And they're like, well, we don't open for another hour. What are you doing? Like, what? It's store time. Like,
let's go.
Yeah, Indiana. We came from Michigan. Indiana doesn't observe daylight savings time. Like, oh, all right. Well, we got an hour to kill. What are we gonna do? So we hung out on the lot, and then we ended up just sitting there waiting, and then they opened the gate, and we sat front row on the lawn and waited another 2 hours for everything to fill in. But it was worth it.
Even some counties out in, like, you could drive county to county through that part of the country, and one will have daylight savings time and the next county won't have it.
Yeah,
confusing as hell.
Indiana, there's the great West Wing episode where they get stuck in between.
Oh, right. That's right.
Fans
that is a
of the
good
West
episode. Also, Indiana, just so you know, if we ever go back to shows again, no beer on Sundays, kids. No beer on. You can't buy alcohol on Sundays. Get your stash Saturday night.
It was like that. It was like that in a county in Connecticut, except you could go to a winery and buy wine. So every Sunday, everybody went to the wineries and bought wine.
That was Colorado too. Growing up, you couldn't buy beer on Sundays.
Or 3-2 beer.
3-2 beer. Yeah.
3-2 beer. Yep.
Yeah. Car dealerships and liquor stores were closed on Sundays.
Yep. Michigan was car dealerships. Yep.
Are you guys all Midwest?
No, we're spread out. We got here. I'll take it so everybody doesn't have to chime in. Matt is a Midwest guy, and Llama is a Midwest guy. He's off camera right now. Chad and T are from LA, out in California. Well, they live in California right now. Chad's from Wisconsin originally, but they're right now they live in LA.
And where's the Wook headquarters?
Philadelphia.
We're bi-coastal, LA and
yeah, we have the LA headquarters, but those guys don't get shit done.
Yeah, we're seriously though thinking about moving the headquarters to Marin County. Like, how much space do you exactly have, Andy? Like, I mean, seriously. Like, I mean, like maybe do you have like a shed in the back?
It looks like right here. You could like right behind me. You could go right there.
Okay, because I have like an air mattress.
That'll fit an air mattress in a tent.
Yeah, I'm like, I have a tent. I can like, I'm just saying, man.
We set up tents in our backyard 2 weekends ago. July 4th weekend. We historically have gone to High Sierra Music Festival, one of my favorite festivals ever.
High Sierra.
Started going in 2000. Actually, 99 when I moved to San Francisco. They were at a park here in Marin County, and then they moved up to up the mountain to Quincy. And for 20 years, we would go in. Jam Bass would sponsor a stage. We sponsored a stage, and we brought a booth to tell people who we were. We'd hand out we did the schedules because it was appropriate. So we did the stage schedules, and then after the next year, people came back. They're like, all right, we know you guys, and we would want to go hang out and be at the festival. And then by the third year, we just set up a couch, literally, and like a little pop-up tent. We're like, here, anybody want to hang out in the Jam Bass Lounge kind of at the side of the stage a little bit for fans. By the second day, the inflatable furniture was nowhere to be seen. But we would just go to that festival as fans, and so this year they streamed past sets that really you hadn't heard and they're high quality soundboards that they had recorded, and they have a radio station on site for when you're there, and so you're hanging out in your campground, you can listen to sets at different stages. So it was very much that vibe. We just listened all weekend long to past festivals, and Dave Margulies and Rebecca and Roy did a great job putting that all together. It's really like the John Prine from '93 was on there, and like there's just some beautiful stuff.
The Radiators from '97.
There you go.
Drink.
Surprising Mr. Davis.
Drink.
Andy, we have our next guest in the waiting room. I hope you are able to hang out.
Yeah, the show doesn't start for a little bit. I don't have to go to the gate.
We'll get you out of here before we're all going to be gone before the show starts.
Benjy and I were talking earlier, and we might want to share a story of our '98 New Year's experience.
Oh, that would be great. Well, before Benjy gets on,
why don't we transition here? Thank you guys for having me on. I'll hang out.
All right,
very
awesome.
nice. Thank you, Andy.
All right.
Where else am I going to go?
We want you to be happy.
One of the 50 people who make Chicago a better place. She's an institutional abuse lawyer and on-air personality for cable news when she's not on tour. It's Tamara Holder.
We want you to be happy, 'cause this is your song too.
Hey, Tamara, welcome to the lot.
Uh-oh.
Do we have sound?
Tamara?
We'll figure it out.
It's okay. No pressure.
All right. So, Andy, what I was saying earlier. Well, we're waiting for
Chad.
No, I'm just, I'm totally trying to stall right here. But
So what new music do you like, Andy?
There you go. Thank you, Wen. Thank you for bailing me out.
I'm sorry, what was the
What
question?
new bands? What up-and-coming bands are you into?
New band. Well, am I allowed to say Goose, or do we have to drink?
Yes. Is it Goose 2.0?
Both.
Is it Goose 2.0 when they start again?
I tell you, they really smitten. They came out to San Francisco and they opened for Pigeons at the Great American, and I have never heard a band scream, or a crowd scream so loudly for that. I mean, I was all over it. And the next night they played at the, they're phenomenal. And they really remind me, obviously, of a lot of the bands over 20, 25 years that I would see. And it almost felt like they were like genetically modified Jam Baby, perfectly catering to my tastes when they came out. It was like, wait, I can see where this is going.
How do you have a Goose prop, Matt? That's amazing. You could not possibly have known that's where this conversation was going to go.
No, he's had that for
at the ready.
I'm ready, buddy.
He had that for Greg.
So shout out to the Goose.
He recycles his props.
Are we on?
We got.
But then I also I really enjoy.
Do we have
Tamara? I don't want to.
You hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
She's got a llama shirt on.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
That's awesome.
It's actually a ghost llama shirt.
Nice.
It's a llama and a sloth. Yeah.
It's a sloth llama.
Oh man,
Nice. Such a cool shirt.
Whoa.
Thank you. I also have another one that my friend Kurt gave me, and it's the evening one, but I can't put it on until the sun sets, and it's a black tank top. So, for my nice shades.
There you go.
Is it a tribute to 12/30/96? Sloth llama?
See, I'm not really sure because I wasn't born yet. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I was gonna believe you.
I was just gonna let it go.
I went too geeky for Wook Plus. I found the line.
Yeah.
I was
gonna give that disclaimer. I forgot.
Yeah, I like that you asked the first question of our new guest, like Andy. Like that was like kind of cool. Like, way to go, man. No, it's appropriate. It's fine. It's cool.
What was the first question?
Oh, actually, I did. What's on your shirt? That's me. That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. All right. Wook, what you got?
Well, welcome, Tamara. It's awesome to have you on. I'm really grateful that you agreed to come on. I was doing a little bit of research and digging in, and I was familiar with your story and everything that's been going on over the last couple of years, I think on a periphery. But as I've been researching and digging it in, I don't know, like maybe this, I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but as a new father with my baby girl and everything and my wife, I just wanted to thank you for everything you're doing, because that shit's crazy and it's super emotional. And I'm not gonna dwell on it, but I did want to thank you because every time, her middle name is Joy. We named my daughter Evie Joy. And when I was listening to your intro, we were doing the edits and I was thinking about your story and the work you've done and listening to We Want You to Be Happy and thinking about my daughter. I got very emotional. And I think it's amazing that people like you are fighting the good fight and spreading the words. And so first, I guess, right off the bat, it's thank you. And thank you for coming on.
That means a lot to me. I think that one of the important things for men to, like yourself, who are fathers to babies or young daughters, is that it's really important to talk to your daughters about these issues. And the worst thing you can say as a husband or as a father is, well, if somebody does something to you, I'm going to kick their ass or I'll beat them up, because what results in that is fear of saying something. And so it's really important to just turn these conversations that are uncomfortable into just a normal conversation. What age that is, I don't know. I was on a Zoom chat with my guys that I do Zoom with during every show, and one of my friend's daughters walked in. And I just introduced myself and I said, just so you know, if man ever touches you, you need to tell your dad. And it was kind of inappropriate for me to say looking back, because I should have maybe asked permission before going into that conversation. And looking back, I definitely evolved out of that. And that's what this is all about, right? Evolving. And I'll never do that again. But at the same time, we've got to, as fathers, you've got to talk to your daughters, and it's super uncomfortable. I mean, I know when a little girl or, teenage daughter starts menstruating, guys don't want to talk about it. But anyway,
I got the call to go to the store, so I heard about it right away.
There's, I represent 27 women against a gynecologist, a major health institution here in Chicago. And so many of the women told their husbands, and they were really afraid on how to tell the husbands, because they didn't want the husbands to go in and kick their ass or kick his ass. So, that's how we evolve the conversation, that if bad guys do something, men don't just get violent.
But that is so my first thought. When they tell me stuff, that is my first thought is, who is this little punk who's screwing with my kids?
Yeah, but it's a really strong point though, right? It's like making a comfortable environment where they feel comfortable to open up and communicate, and not adding stress or fear to an already crappy situation.
Well, it's just me and them, so they're both of them come to me. They're 13 or 14 and 16. She just turned 14. So
don't be so sure of that. You know what I mean? They may come to you for what you think is everything, but they may not. So
they may that is probably true. But I think for the most part, they're like, this guy is our champion. He's gonna, fix fix what we need if we need help.
Well, I think also I've learned that being a fish man is we're part of a very different culture of communication and openness that I don't think most men are part of. And it's drug culture, it's being free, it's all of these things that you have to learn in society how to be part of if you want to continue to live and evolve and be successful.
Yeah, there's something about the community.
I kind of want to leave the room and just let Went and Tamara talk to each other, because this is actually fascinating, because exactly what she's saying and exactly what Kev is saying are that needs to be hashed out.
Yeah, it's a meeting, right?
Fam, you have a daughter.
I do. And again, Tamara, I'll tell you, if you ever pull my daughter aside and want to have any conversation you ever want to have with her, I will always feel that's appropriate, if that makes sense. So I understand, and I echo what Weekend Wook is saying here. We've been looking into your story, and it's been so inspiring to us, and it's just incredible. It's very empowering, inspirational. One of the things that I love about you is that you were a progressive at Fox. Okay, so I always I thought about it, I'm like, that's like being
Remember those days? Those days are gone, by the way. They don't even pretend anymore. They used to have like one or two progressive voices. Now they don't even try.
We have a legitimate unicorn on our show.
Exactly. And I always kind of liken it to like being a widespread panic in this group, so like, tell us what it was like on that end of it, like trying to kind of champion liberal policies and progressive policies on something like that.
Well, I mean, I could talk about that forever because I really am, aside from being perfect, I really am a unicorn. I just haven't found the right guy who actually thinks I'm perfect. That's off the roof, but yeah, so I was hired by Roger Ailes, and a lot of people think that what happened to me at Fox News was him, and it was not. It was a wannabe punk executive who thought he was going to get away with something, and he didn't. But Roger, my story's unique not only because of my job there, but Roger and I were friends. Roger hired me. I liked Roger. I would meet with him in his office, and contrary to other stories that other women had, we would sit there and just like shoot the shit, and he would talk to me about how liberals were just the worst. And maybe he thought that since I was the devil, that he wouldn't, go down that road with me. But he was very aware of, like, remember I don't even know if they're still called this, Fair and Balanced. And they weren't that, but like, he was very he had a finger on the pulse of at least acting like it a little bit. So I left right when Trump was elected, and I can't imagine. I mean, I'm not disparaging them. I just can't imagine being there right now because it's not like when I was there. But the hard thing is that I got a lot of death threats. I mean, the hatred, the vitriol was just, I mean, I don't know if you know this. By the way, Ruth Ginsburg, Bader Ginsburg, they just said that she has been hospitalized for an infection. But I was, so we all need to say a prayer, but I was in the Supreme Court when Roe v. Wade was decided. I know that I'm really bright and intelligent, but I did not write that opinion. So the law of the land is that abortion is legal. And I'm a lawyer first before being a progressive. I am a student of the law, and I believe in the Constitution, and I believe in the Supreme Court. So anyway, if I would say things like, well, abortion is legal, it's not murder in the United States, I would get death threats like, you deserve to have your limbs ripped off. And so those things are just, I feel like it could even be worse if I were there now.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to again, just incredibly courageous to do that. So we salute you and thank you for that.
But I want to say one thing about that. So I was on another network right after I left Fox, and they wanted to know about, they wanted to bash Fox News, and I said, you guys weren't paying attention, and you just hated Fox so much that they were creating a president, and we have to be responsible for the things that come out of the other side, because if we're not paying attention, look what we get. Sorry to be political. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, I'm so glad you're there.
You know what? Drink.
How often do we have?
Sorry, no. When we talk politics, we have to drink. So
all right, we should drink. But how often do we have a guest though that, worked for Fox News and is an attorney with this experience, right? Like, I think that's fair. If any guest is going to come on and talk politics, I think you're the most qualified of the ones we've had so far, at least.
Tamara, I'm notorious for doing zero research on our guests that I don't know anything about. And I apologize, but you're one of them. And just listening to you say all of that, my heart is now in my stomach. And oh my God, what a story. Like,
you just caught up to where the rest of us are.
I know. I just caught up. Like, literally, I just caught up. And like, oh my God. Like,
well, best part of the story is that I did fall tour all by myself, the whole fall tour.
Atta girl.
That's awesome. I was actually going to ask you, is the fish thing new, or have you been following them for a long time?
So it's not new. I'm from Colorado, so I have a nice Colorado t-shirt over there. I'm originally from Colorado, and
whereabouts?
I was born in southeastern Colorado, Rocky Ford, La Junta. My grandparents were onion and melon growers. And Sammy,
nice. Onions and melons.
Hey, Sammy.
Doggy.
Now,
good boy.
Doesn't she look like a Wook?
Good girl.
Yes. Oh, she's official Wook for sure.
Official Wook. She goes. So anyway, southeastern Colorado, my parents and grandparents were melon and onion growers. So I listened to Fish as a kid, and then I was sent off to boarding school, all those things. So I never went to a show until they got back together. Oh, and then my uncle told me that only when I was younger, like 12, I specifically remember this. I was 12 years old listening to Fish, and my uncle told me that only lesbians, and I was wearing Birkenstocks, only lesbians listen to Fish. And he's like this hillbilly uncle of mine. And I was like, okay. And I was like terrified, literally, like that I was going to turn into a lesbian for many years. And I'm very progressive now. But it was just weird how one person's comment can literally like turn you into like afraid to like listen to something.
Absolutely.
So my first show was in 2009. And I listened to them my whole life. And then I dated a guy. Oh my God, I'm just talking. I'm sorry, you guys.
No, dog.
Hey, we have like an hour and a half to kill.
It's what
right
we
now.
do.
Like,
it's what we do.
Please, like, go.
So I was dating a guy who was a really, really, really big deal in the music business. Really big deal. And he, sorry for the helicopter.
He said people who listen to Fish are.
He hated Fish. So I took him to Rosemont in 2018, and he was on his phone watching the Red Sox during the show. And
of all teams.
Not a keeper.
And then he took me to New Year's, and he still was just like not into it. And I remember it was New Year's 2018, and I was just like, screw this guy. He's out, and I'm going on tour for the rest of my life.
It's awesome.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yes. Well, hey, I saw your video with your dad, okay, from St. Louis 2019. Okay. So me and Trav were there along with you and your dad. And you guys were singing along to Joy, and like it's so incredible. Like so tell us like about how you and your dad, is your dad like a fish head, or did you just kind of I know you're Chicago, so was St. Louis just an easy run for you? Or?
Well, that was the first show of the tour after I decided that I was going to ditch this guy. So
nice.
After years, and I just told my dad, you have to come with me. And so he got on a plane back in the day when people flew. And I gave him some things to try, and he trusted me.
Nice.
All right. This story is great. This is great. I want to watch this video now again, knowing all this information makes it even better.
Well, first I took him to the lot, and I was like, all right, so, and I'm not a nitrous person. I'm very public about things I do and don't do. I'm not a nitrous person, and it's not my thing. And so, I was like, go ahead, Dad, try it. and he was terrified.
That was the craziest. That lot was crazy. The nitrocene was out of control.
The Mafia made it there. The Mafia made it all the way out.
It everywhere, Kev.
It was out. It was insane. I've never, again, I don't feel like I'm super newbie, but I'm not like super vet. But I have never seen a nitrocene or just.
But part of the problem with that was because the lot was so far away from the actual venue that to walk to the lot, they could just hit you up the whole way there. So they just waited right outside the venue and then just hit you up the whole way there. And that was the first time I'd ever heard them saying, like, we'll take Apple Pay and credit cards. And the guy had a little credit card swiper.
How about
I was like,
how about the little league players?
Like, I was like, you guys are so entrepreneurial.
It's one thing if you have to have
your
cash.
bank statement as
Yeah,
like nitrocene.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Tamara, did you see the little league baseball game, Tamara, that was going on? Like, yeah.
We were there, and then the best part was after the show, people were like playing fake baseball in the baseball field, and I have a picture of my dad and I. There was a John Deere lawnmower machine parked there, and my dad got on the lawnmower machine, and we took a picture, and people were coming up to him thinking that he mowed the lawn, so they're like, "Good job mowing the lawn." His sunglasses, and he was just like high as a kite, and he had the best time ever.
So did he fly out from Denver? Do your parents still live in from Colorado? Do they still live in Colorado, or where did he fly from?
My mother is deceased. She passed away 5 years ago. And my father lives in Eastern Washington State, near Spokane. So it was a little bit of a trip for him. And then we flew. Oh, wait, this is a really good story. I had, it's Eastern time there, I think. And so I had the times mixed up, and we were flying Southwest. In Southwest, you can just get on the plane like right before it takes off. And so I didn't realize that we were like an hour behind. So we get there, and we were 100% going to miss the plane. I had him running down the terminal with his shoes off and his belt in his hand. And the reason why they didn't lock the doors was because it was after they won the Stanley Cup, and another Fish fan was playing on the plane the video of whatever, and he was like, "You guys," and he was like still on whatever, playing it for everybody at the front of the plane, and they were like, "Dude, you have to get off the plane." He's like, "No, this is the greatest thing ever." So they let us on.
well, Tamara, we thought it was the greatest thing ever too. We actually made a video of it on Plus.
I knew the plug was coming. I knew it as soon as she started telling that story.
But if you get a chance to check it out, it was about the Gloria moment. If you remember, Gloria. They played Gloria that night because that was the big St. Louis blues song. Just incredibly that weekend or that couple nights. What a great tour opener. How many more did you keep going on that tour?
I did a lot of them. I didn't do Mohegan Sun, but I did like what did I do? SPAC, Camden, Boston, Alpine, Dick's. And for my birthday, my 40th was last year. This time last year I got a box for in Boston. My friends are part of like Fenway. And I didn't get any deals, no deals.
That's right.
But rain delay. And so we were in the suite for like 3 hours, just raging. And afterwards, this security guy came up to me to tell me to get out. He was like, "Get out." And I said, well, why are the people in the suite next to us still partying? And we were next to like the vice president's box or something. And he put his finger in my face and he said, "Because that's my president's son." And I said, "Well, you're fucked because you just put your finger in my face."
Hell yeah.
And I said, there are not two sets of rules here. I'm a paying customer too. Do not put your fingers in my face and kick me out when you're keeping them there. I have downstairs in my entrance to my house, because they are such pros at Fenway, a sign that makes it very clear: after a show, 30 minutes, you have 30 minutes to leave. After a game, you have an hour to leave. That is the rule, and the rule applies to everybody. And now there is a sign up, and they gave me one.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
That's a lawyer move right there. That's what ends up yeah, they're like, yeah, we better get this official with this lawyer here.
We out to dinner at a movie show. You were at the show from tonight, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So where are you on the Ruby Waves? Was it the greatest thing ever, or eh?
It was the greatest thing ever. I have 10 minutes of it. I was just standing there with my. It was amazing. That whole run was amazing. I think that the first 2 nights also just get totally left in the dust, and it's not fair. I listen. I don't look. I'm kind of afraid to watch tonight. I don't even know if I'm going to.
I want to see the wedding thing. I'm so excited to see the whole wedding shtick. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so
the other one question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
I'm going to interview you. What are your plans?
Please.
What are our plans tonight?
Yeah.
I'm going to, I guess, watch the show. I'll probably fall asleep before it's over. I get up at 4 a.m, so.
This is gonna be the saddest segment in
Yeah, you didn't want to ask that question.
We're like,
I'm gonna cry alone by myself, drinking and watching fish. It's just not gonna be good.
You're not alone, Chad. You're not alone.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
Oh, Andy,
I'm coming up to Marin, man. I'm coming on. I'm going to sleep on your couch one day. I swear to God.
It's yours.
No, but I do think it's fun to kind of like emulate the best we can. I definitely dance around a little bit. Sometimes I put on some funny disco lights or fun stuff, and dance around. Like
those poor kids are mortified.
Well, my daughter Piper, no shocker. She loves it. My son is mortified. Yes.
Dad, come on, man.
We've been getting into the food. We made burgers last week.
Did you put seasoning on them?
Oh. Yeah, I thought the recipe was a little too precise, so we took liberties with it and made our own.
Smart move.
Actually, the Burger of Champions, I think it's called, in the Weber cookbook. Check it out.
Okay.
I didn't even see what tonight's recipe was. That's the downside of doing the show.
It's curry or something.
It's just straight curry, just lines of curry, just like snort it.
Thai coconut yellow curry.
Yeah, just
there you go.
That sounds great.
Cut it, snort it.
Shishito peppers. Yeah.
Well, we always like to talk about like lot experiences too. Like, so Andy, Tamara, like, tell us what your lot. I'm curious, Tamara. Like, has your law experience ever helped you on the lot? Have you ever been like, ooh, I'm in this spot. Good thing I'm a lawyer and know what's up. I guess you already said in Fenway there was a little bit of a, but we also have like, I know you're in sports court too. And you had sports court, which Tim loves it when we talk sports over there.
5-6 of us love it.
Yeah, a few of us love that. So we got to talk some, and we've also
Favorite
been,
sport.
yeah, and we've been.
You just hit like 6 points, man.
Yeah, I'm coming with all the questions at once. But like we had talked about like a Wook court too someday. We need to have like a Wook court. Yeah. Yes. So Tamara, what do you think about Wook court? Would you be on that with us?
I would totally help you produce it, and
Yes.
I mean, there is like Phish fans are, well, Phish is, I think, the most prolific band of our time. And I really think when the lights went down on the first night of summer tour in St. Louis, I remember that like there was like, they flashed like a light or something happened. I don't know, who knows what it was, but like I was literally like, I saw them like in the Super Bowl or something. Saw like this, I don't know, and I just feel like they're on such a roll that this past year was something, an evolution that I really feel was like outpaces or like outshines everything. I was at Carnegie. I flew in for Carnegie to see Trey for both nights. Talk about a nitrous scene on 55th and 6th or 7th. That was insane.
Crazy.
Was that the symphony or the acoustic?
It
was
was
the acoustic show.
Yeah, it was the last stop, and it was just like the most beautiful experience I've ever had. And I was met, but I just think there's so many stories and so many things to talk about. And by the way, I feel like fish fans are the people that can have political conversations without freaking out. Like, I think we should be the ones to talk about those things.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to agree with that, and I want to give credit to our scene, right? Like, I feel like that's what I want to be there, but I've had a lot of rough conversations because I don't think everybody's as woke or enlightened or open-minded, or at least patient enough to have, honest discourse. I don't know. We have our flaws, I guess, is my point. It's like, right, like just like any large group of any fan base, I think there's people that are, have their flaws, but maybe on average, I would agree.
There's a Facebook page, Fish Fans for Trump.
Yeah,
that blows my mind.
I don't know. It's interesting. So I had the weirdest experience. So I've been working on my deck. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but right when COVID hit, I have a beautiful rooftop in Chicago, and I'm in alone. And I told my contractor, I said, I need you to build out my rooftop so I can enjoy it with lights. So we did all LED lights. I have a laser light. I have all this beautiful everything. And I had a birthday party on Saturday, and it was direct access to my rooftop, only my closest friends. And I posted some pictures on social media, and nobody said anything to me, but my friends, we weren't wearing masks because we were eating and drinking, and everybody was very conscious of everything. And I thought I all of a sudden thought, oh my God, there's this cancel culture. Like, are people now going to shame me for the decision that I made? And that happened on Saturday. It's Tuesday, and I'm still kind of trying to process a decision that I made out of fear that I've angered people.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of the world we live in these days with social media and everything.
You have to adopt a Johnny Rotten philosophy and be like, whatever.
I know.
I would recommend can you cycle blue, pink, something you can?
Yeah.
That gets you in a better mood. I promise you. That'll get that out of your system. Just go blue, pink, blue, pink.
Okay.
Ruby waves tonight.
I'm going to do blue, pink. I think I know that I can do a full cycle of the colors. I got to check it out, but I'm definitely. Wait, do you guys think that they're playing in the barn tonight? What are they doing?
No.
Oh, we're going to have to come back to that because we actually have our third guest in the waiting room.
Oh, good question.
You're hanging out.
Once Benjy comes in, it's fair game.
Benjy actually knows, so bring him in. Yeah, Benjy knows.
Yeah, let's get him in.
Benjy probably does know. Yeah.
We're gonna have a 9 shot. We're gonna have a Brady Bunch shot here.
Full Brady. We're going full Brady.
Residing in San Francisco, he's a New York Times best-selling author and manager of Bill Kreutzmann Enterprise, wading in the velvet sea of oysters and voting for Type 2 jams for president. It's Benjy Eisen.
I'm so glad that we went with that.
I gave Wook 2 versions. I gave him deal and I gave him ass-handed. And he went with ass-handed. And I'm so proud of you, Wook.
I'm proud of you. That was a great intro. Hey, Benjy. Love your mask. Uh-oh. It's too good of a mask.
It's too good. We can't hear him. All right. So...
I'll take off my mask and reveal my new goose look.
I gave him deal.
Oh, hey, Benjy, you got to mute or turn off the YouTube channel.
Turn off YouTube.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Let me turn off the YouTube channel.
That was a great intro. Hey, Benjy, love your mask.
Hey,
really awesome to listen to us.
Hold on 1 second.
It's too good of a mask. It's too good.
I need to put that in the notes for guests. I forgot about that, but when I write out the instructions.
How's those edibles?
By the way,
have you made any edibles? You're
yeah, no, I took off the mask to reveal my new juice look.
Like Dan Leibowitz
as well.
Can we talk about the intro for a second? Because I actually thought about the intro when Weekend Wook over there asked me about the intro music. I thought about it, and he can attest. I sent him a thing saying, I wanted Jennifer Dances, but I was like, I couldn't find any good versions, and so. Then I thought about it. I was like, I root for the underdog, so I really wanted a Prince Caspian or Farmhouse, the solo on Friday when everybody hates Friday until the solo happens. So.
Wait,
you had mentioned ass-handed though, didn't you? I didn't make that up.
Oh yeah, no, ass-handed, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well that you got ass-handed.
I figured all the cool guests were gonna use the tweezer and the twee prizes. And like the bathtub gin lick and all that. And MoMA dance would have been my serious pick, but I was like, you know what? No, I want ass-handed or Prince Caspian or Farmhouse or Jennifer Dances.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll make you a MoMA dance intro just for you to have in your back pocket if you ever need it.
Awesome.
Next time. The second time.
I get the Black Eyed Katie version of that from Hampton 97. Can I get for next time? Sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
Benji's here now.
I loved the intros tonight. Punch you in the eye, joy, and ass-handed. It's weird because we've given all of the guests of, carte blanche or they get to choose, and I don't think anyone's doubled yet, right? We've had 40 guests now, and every single intro has been unique.
Yeah. Do you have a set list online somewhere of all the guest intros?
Oh, we should make a.
We absolutely should do that.
Can I put that? I'll put that on gadiel.com/Wook.
I would have.
Associate producer needs to get on.
We've made it.
I would have figured that all the obvious ones were they used up. Although Tom Marshall used Sleeping Monkey, which I thought was
Sleeping Monkey.
Yeah,
that was a cool pick on his part.
It's a great call. It also might be him revealing a few things about his personal life. Who knows?
His other choice was Mexican Cousin.
Oh yeah, see there you go.
Buffalo Bill.
I mean, I'm friends with Tom, so I can say genuinely he's a man after my own heart. So a Mexican Cousin would have been my pick had I thought about it.
Well, next time you come on, we have another chance. Pick another intro. We'll redo it.
Benji, before we go much further, can I just ask you the tray? Is that a tray pillow behind you?
Incredible.
It actually is. It's one of these.
I have a Jeff Goldblum one that does that. And that's what I thought it did. That's amazing. Is it Tray Jesus? That is fantastic. I love it.
First, when you want to do this.
Wow. Excellent. Nice. Excellent.
I feel like Benji was a good choice for the third guest too, because it goes right with the energy of where we're at now. It's like half a bottle in.
I am not high enough.
I gotta admit right now, and most people that I talk to don't, even my fish fans or my fish friends that I go on tour with, don't necessarily do it as I did. But I've been looking at Dinner and a Movie as I've been approaching it. Just like when Fish is on tour and I can't actually be there, I webcast every show that they offer. And so for Dinner and a Movie, I've been treating it as much of a live show as I possibly can. So I've been pre-gaming here. I've been watching you guys as I've been pre-gaming. And
Thank you.
And this is the first time watching you guys as I do that, but this can now be part of my ritual. But I don't go, before we talk about tonight's show, I gotta say I don't go back and look at the set list. I want to treat it like a live show. Obviously, we know the big jam tonight, because it's so famous, and we've all heard it. Yeah. We've all heard it.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But apart from that, even the Deer Creek show and the Virginia Beach show, the 97 show that I was at, and 89 show, which I wasn't at, but I love that venue. It's now called Pearl Street. It was my college venue. But all those things, I don't go back and look at the set list. Instead, I treat it like a live show, and just like a live show during the show, there's no talking. I try to dance, and so I don't always dance like I would at a live show, but I definitely treat it as much of a live show as possible.
That's awesome. Yeah, I try to do that as well. I think it makes it more enjoyable. It's hard with the later 3.0 shows though, because they're so recent. You can damn near remember half the show, but
except you're overestimating my memory. So all the 3-point wishes I saw, and I remember the feeling. I remember if I liked it or not. I remember maybe the highlights. You know, like for Magna Ball, obviously I knew that second set pretty well. But like a lot of but there were still surprises in the first and third set that I hadn't remembered fully, because I made it a point not to go back and not to look. And at the Fish Studies Conference in at OSU that Dr. Jenkins held, which was a really amazing experience. There was a lecture that talked about a presentation that talked about the liveness of webcasting, and it was really interesting because it's just like with sports, right? Like I'm not too into many sports, but I do know that of the sports that I do like, I couldn't watch a repeat game because it already happened, so it's not exciting. So with Fish, there's been there's exceptions in that. For instance, this Alpine Valley show from tonight, when I first saw it, I wasn't there. I was actually, and this is gonna sound like a humble brag, but I don't mean it to be. I was on an island in the British Columbia with Paul Stamets, who's like a mushroom guru, and the Kreutzmann. I was staying in a house with the Kreutzmanns, and during the day.
Best humble flex I've ever heard.
I was gonna say my humble brag of being a therapist this night just got thrown out the window.
Keep going.
The point of that is that normally normally for a webcast I would block out everything, but for that obviously I went along with whatever our plans were during the day, and they go to bed rather early. So by 9:30 they're asleep, and I went out on the back deck. It was the house that the Kreutzmanns rented. It was the two of them, two other people, friends of ours, and myself. And I went out on this back deck, and I put up my laptop, and I put my headphones on, and I was dancing. At one point, Billy came downstairs to get a snack, and he saw me rocking out, knew that it wasn't his band, you know, and was like, and asked me if it was one of the bands I manage, and I was like, no, it's Fish, and he's like, good night. but other than that, I look at them like live shows, you know, and so the liveness, going back to OSU, at the conference, there is something to be said about, you know, one of the things, the way that they debuted Sigma Oasis. But to me, the coolest part of it was knowing that all of Fish Nation was listening to this at the same time. We were isolated. It was the first 2 weeks of lockdown in California. We weren't seeing each other. Friends of mine that I normally would even be at a bar talking about hey, Fish has a new album. But we couldn't. Andy, who lives right near me, and who he and I will see each other at shows. You know, locally, we saw each other at the Juice show that he talked about earlier.
Hold on. I'm sorry, Benjy. That's great. There's 2 couches in Marin that I can crash on.
Yeah.
Like seriously?
But
Benjy, you got a couch? Like, can I use that tray pillow?
I mean, I'm couch torn right now.
God.
All right. No, I'm just, you know. All right. Man. Go ahead, Benjy.
But the point is that there's something about the liveness, and so to me, the greatest thing about dinner and movies have been, you know, like there's a lot of great things. It's my favorite part of the week. You know, but
yeah, by far, Tuesday's become like the peak of the week for the whole community. And I think
did you mean to do that?
Yeah, of course I did.
Did you mean to do that? Okay, all right.
I'll play 3-dimensional chess here, Chad.
Okay.
It really feels like a community though, because it's like we know when I want, like, sure, you put it on YouTube, and the Nashville 98 shows on all the free webcasts that they did, the few free ones they did are on YouTube, and there's a million stuff. There's so much stuff on YouTube, but the fact that, and then they keep it up for a few days and all that, but watching it when they're live streaming it has this liveness to it that feels as close to a show as we can get, because we know that I just think about all my friends across the country, you know, dancing to it right then at that same time, you know?
Yeah, it feels like a community.
Yeah.
Cheers,
really
Benjy, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I think that probably the Sigma Oasis debut, I mean, I don't know the official numbers, but that felt like it was probably one of the most viewed or connected the communities as a community we were, because like it didn't matter about, you know, it wasn't paid, so it wasn't a an economic thing, right? Like whether you're well off or hard times, like everybody could have access and see it. And
it's like a where were you at that moment? You know, I'm sure Tamara has a story of when she was listening to Sigma Oasis. Andy does. Tamara, where were you when you were listening to Sigma? for the first time?
In my loft with my dog, Sammy.
See, there you go. Perfect. All right, Andy, where were you? Sigma.
We were in Chicago, actually. We were quarantined for the first 2 months in Chicago with my daughter, Sammy, and my son, Alex. And we were listening to it over dinner. That was a big, our family was connected that way. So yeah, It was an event. They could have just put out an album. They decided to live stream it for free and essentially make it available for free, but then everyone listens to it on their music service of choice.
I'll tell you where I was. I was after about 5 seconds into it, I was on the moon. You know?
You're already there, Benjy. You're already there.
And I actually tweeted like everyone wanted to know about what everyone's trying to guess the songs, and I have to say not that I had any insight. I just out of purely selfish reasons, I said I want there to be Leaves and Thread, and the reason for that is because those two songs were songs that when they debuted, I remember being at Baker's Dozen. Well, when they were playing Leaves, and everyone around me was kind of, Fish fans have this pattern where when Mercury came out, I remember being there at the debut of it up in Bend, and so many people were just like talking and milling about and didn't quite get it. And I remember thinking, a year from now, this is going to be your favorite jam, Yeah,
and I thought that for Thread. Leaves, I think vocally was very pushing the boundaries a bit, right? I think that was heavily inspired by the Bowie cover album they did, and Trey's obviously been practicing and going
Trey
out there, but
Trey with Fare Thee Well, that pushed his vocals too, having to do the songs for Fare Thee Well.
Yeah, but I mean the timing of when Leaves was written and originally created, it was a very Bowie-esque. But Thread, compositionally and just the jam, I thought the same exact thing. Benjy was like, people are gonna dig this jam. Like it's
Hey, Benjy, have you heard Epitaph yet? Have you heard it?
I haven't heard Epitaph. I would love to hear it.
You know what? There's a good place to hear it.
Yeah.
Tom debuted the first minute of it on our show.
Well, I didn't know that. I have to go back and listen to it. But talking of this great one, I got to go back to a point. I like in vetting this show, I went and I saw some snippets of it on YouTube, and you said that you had heard that after Fare Thee Well that Bobby went up to Trey afterwards.
After Deal at that break, yeah.
That wasn't true. So
wow, breaking news.
No, but so here's the thing. So Trey, it was the weirdest experience of my life because I had to sort of coach. Like I was in a position of managing, and I tried to hide from Trey until the last show, set break of the last show. I hid from Trey how into fish I was because I felt like he'll never take me seriously. I have this role, and I just turned a switch on, and I was like, okay, at the end of this, I'll look back and I'll high five and I'll talk about it for the rest of my life. But while I'm doing it, I have to be a professional. And so Billy would talk to me. We would drive home together. I would drive obviously, and would drive home after the rehearsals.
Smart move, sorry.
Obviously.
But I'd drive home after the rehearsals, and he would talk about it, and he at one point said, like Trey was bummed out because he wasn't getting any feedback from the band, and so Bobby wouldn't talk to. Nobody would say good job, bad job. Like they wouldn't say it all, and I had to tell Trey, hey, look, these guys are from a different generation. If you're doing something they don't like, they'll let you know. Otherwise, don't expect affirmation. Don't expect any broing down. That's just not their style. And at one point during the rehearsal, I went up to Trey and this was like day 1 or 2 when I was trying to hide, and like very much hide how much I knew about fish. But
yeah, who's this Trey guy? Yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to let him know that I knew enough that I could talk to him about Fare Thee Well, but at the same time not, as a, oh dude, are you ever gonna play Dog Lord live again? So I didn't want to scare him, or have a restraining order. So I said to him, I said, I think with your band, I think that I remember hearing this song. I think it was called. This sounds odd, but I think it was called David Bowie, and he smiled, and I go, like that, so when I first heard it, I remember that there were a lot of notes, and it was so frantic, it was so frenetic, and in fact, and I loved that, and I said loved with a D at the end, I loved that, And Trey goes, he had this big shit-eating grin, and he goes, I still love that. I still love that stuff. And I was like, yeah, but now you're playing a song like, I think it's called Winter Queen, and there's another one. It's about like flying wingsuit, something like that. And I was like, that sounds more like what these guys are doing, in which they're taking intensity, but they're not playing it really fast and not with a lot of notes. So I'm really curious to see, and I think everyone here is curious to see how you can take the intensity from that, what David Bowie or whatever song it is that you do, and put it into this. And Trey goes, I'm interested in putting this into that. And then I was like, secretly like, fuck yeah, and walked off being like, cool man,
So you gave Trey notes.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. That's
I was like, you were like, hey man, here's how you can be better.
Yeah, but
Sincerely, Benjy Eisen.
Every single time he just counted, like when I said like I was interested in how you can take this into that, he's like, no, I'm gonna take this and
yes. That's what we do too when these guys give us notes. I mean, we just kind of like, just count them and just do. Yeah, that's how it works.
He did say at one point that during in Chicago, he said, because no one else gave him feedback, so he asked if I'd advocate for him, because let Trey sing and let him play. And Foolish Heart was like the song that Bobby decided to let Trey really just, and actually I have notes on my phone that I took so that I'd never forget it. During the sound check, Trey turned to Bobby and said, when the jam ends, is it finite or is it a look? And Bobby goes, it's a look. And Trey goes, well, in my band, I give the look. And Bobby goes, I'll give you the look. Okay. And then if you look back on that footage of Fairly Well during Foolish Heart when Trey's peaking the jam, he purposely turned his back to Bobby so that
he whooped back. He whooped back. Trey whooped back.
Yeah,
it's so funny you say that though, because noticing that now too, when they played here at the Forum, Mayer went over and was doing a little jam by himself and had his back to Bobby, and you could tell he was not letting Bobby ruin the jam. And Bobby finally literally walked over and was like, "Kids, it's time to get done with this." And you could watch it on stage. It was so funny to watch. You're like, he definitely does not want.
I guarantee if you go back to the Fairly Well webcast, which is online right now at fans.com.
I'm going to now. Watch that for sure.
Look at Foolish Heart. You'll see Trey is avoiding the look from Bobby, and then when Trey's ready, Trey looks at Bobby, and then Bobby, just to be Bobby, gives the look.
Wasn't there a story, Benjy, wasn't there a story that Trey told about when they were doing, was it Bertha, and Phil was talking about the tempo and he wanted to play it fast and Bobby wanted to slow it down, and Trey had to insert himself and say that he was the one that was singing it, so let me pick it, and it might have been like Bill Walton that gave him the coaching on that one.
I don't know about Bill Walton's part, but in the rehearsal, I remember there was more than one. There are times in which they had to take a time out because they're talking about they're talking about the tempo, and it got heated between the band, and Trey and Bruce Hornsby were kind of like in their own little boys club because they felt like they were the guests. And so they didn't want to interject in terms of those big, the things. And so when the band would start arguing about tempos, that was usually between Phil and Bobby and the drummers. And Trey and Bruce would go over to catering and sit and snack and make little comments that you couldn't really hear. But Trey tried to be the great equalizer in a lot of that, especially when he was singing, and things.
Now, where did Clemente fall into that group? Where was Clemente at?
Clemente, the feeling that I get is that it wasn't just Fairly Well, but in general, Clemente, who I love, he's an amazing human being and many levels, and I love his musicality is just absolutely amazing. But I think that he would agree with this. He is the keyboardist, the hired keyboardist, so he comes to do his job. So he doesn't care if they say speed up, he'll speed up. If they say slow down, he'll slow down. If they say play more, he'll play. He's just there to be happy.
He's the Christian Laettner of the Dream Team. I imagine he feels like, man, I'm just happy to be on this freaking stage with all these killer musicians and wow, this is amazing. Who was at Fairly Well? We have a big crew of folks at Fairly Well. Who was at Fairly Well? I guess we could do a raise the hands. Tamara, you're a Chicago kiddo. Tamara, you were at Fairly Well?
I was lived in New York. at that time.
At the
that
time,
would have been the timing of New York. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that was.
I went the first night. One and done. I went first night in Santa Clara.
Oh, Santa Clara.
Nice.
I didn't. I won
Yeah, the West Coast. Yeah, the West Side. Those shows kind of,
I've never.
I put my kids on a plane to Chicago, and I went to High Sierra.
That was the night they did all the really
Andy,
old stuff.
Andy, you went to High Sierra did you go to High Sierra the whole weekend or just? Oh, awesome! Camp Harry for
Camp
life.
Camp Harry. Yeah, we went. My wife and I went back to High Sierra. It was actually the first time in a few years. It was so much fun that year. Really a great event. Again, it all comes back. But yeah, Benjy and I have been at a few shows together over the years. He seems to be he has good taste in music. I appreciate.
You guys share a tarp?
We're pre-tarp. We're pre-tarp.
I love that it wasn't even an answer. It's just like a, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
We go
Benjy,
back, I'll let Andy tell the story, but we go back to the 90s with shows.
Benjy notoriously wrote the most amazing review of the Great Went Bathtub Gin, about it just peaking and you're running through the forest naked. Like, go back and listen to it, because I think Benjy at one point on Rec Music Fish cataloged every bathtub gin and kind of named all the parts. And this feels like, I feel like now is the appropriate place to express that I feel like that hasn't gotten enough love. Like your catalog of bathtub gins that you did.
I'm amazed that you remember that, because everyone forgets that. Because I was part of the Mockingbird Project for a while, and then I let them down. And this is my public apology to them. I was a kid. They told me to do. They asked me to handle some song histories, and I was out living life, and I was an irresponsible kid. I was in college, and
we all were, and some of us still are.
Some of us
still
are.
I think that they were a little bit upset with me about that, so they kind of erased my bathtub gin history in the book.
Oh, we'll have to go back to the Wayback Machine to find it. But Benjy was there when the Fish page turned into jambands.com. When we launched jambands.com, Benjy was part of the original crew with Dean Budnick, and Benjy was one of the early writers and editors and helped us create the magazine, and still does contribute, I think, to Relics and all that. But for the first year of Jam Bands, I worked on doing the page layout and the website, and Benjy helped with all that curation in 1998.
With the news, we called the news Heads Up, or that was Jam Base? The news Heads Up.
So with Jam Base started, we didn't have news right away, but we just had tour dates. And Benjy made the suggestion of, why not have news and call it Heads Up? Get it?
Yeah.
Everybody get it?
Yeah, we got it.
I'm just making sure that I got the right audience here.
Well
it's
done,
getting
Benjy.
close to showtime, so I just want to.
We have a daily segment that we call the Daily Dose. You see what we did there?
Jam Base did a daily dose. I think that was we used to have a little drop-down menu.
Oh, we ripped it off. You guys
should everybody has a daily dose. And we had a drop-down menu called "What's Your Scene," and it had a list of all the cities that you were in, and we would say, "What's your scene?"
Maybe it should be Daily Drip.
I remember Hidden Track. I remember way back when Hidden Track pre Jam Base. Like, God, I loved Hidden Track. Yeah, Scotty B.
I already gushed all over Andy. Benjy, I'm gonna gush all over you. I was a big fan of your writing back in the day. And stop it, Wook.
I just hate that word like that. But
oh, gush
away.
Okay, what's better?
Well, hold on. Let me just say with gush, I told for Trey, one more Trey story.
There's a gush story.
But when Billy introduced me to him, I'll never forget this. He goes, "Oh, I know you," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then he goes, "I read the whole book on the plane coming here," and I said, "Well, do you have it? You have it on your Kindle?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Let me get you a hard copy." So I wrote a little intro. I wrote a little intro to him that was a little bit, in hindsight, like I did it while they're playing in front of me. I go into the little Billy's little pipe and drape area, and I wrote this little inscription to Trey about how as a writer I was influenced by his music and blah blah blah. And the next day I come up to him at rehearsal and I said, "Trey, I'm sorry I gave him the copy of the book," and he's like, "I'm gonna put it on my mantle." And I go, "I'm sorry about the intro. I gushed a little bit." And he looks at me, he goes, "NSG." And I go, what? And he goes, NSG. And I'm like, what? And he goes, never stop gushing.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
My
third point to that was that Jam Base should have hired Tamara and saved her from a world of hurt.
She apparently wasn't born yet. Is what she said.
That's
at the beginning of the show.
No, she
we
would have been right there. She would have been right there.
So actually, Tamara had a very good question right before Benjy came on that I want to bring it back to, because this is a question that's been on all of our minds, and pose it to the guests. What's going on with the barn? Are they doing something? Will there be a stream? What say you? What's the take? What's the interpretation of these photos? I'm assuming you guys have all seen the photos. Benjy, why don't we start with you, then we'll
I mean, I have no idea, obviously, but
Andy said you had the answer, though. We were really hoping.
But months ago,
there's a reason we went to you first.
Well,
you were supposed to answer it.
Months ago, when lockdown was still new, I had this idea, and I think literally thousands of people had the same idea, and that's like, okay, so once the individual shelter in place is over, then people can start combining their bubbles. And so fish can combine their bubbles at the barn. It's just so obvious. Combine your bubble, have the 4 of them, quarantine with their families and the crew. And yeah, it's a process. It might take as much as a month because you have 2-week quarantine, whatever it takes. But then obviously do that. And then my thinking at the time, this is back in, March and April, I was thinking, fish can still, they're a band that Trey wants to play no matter what. Nothing's gonna stop him from playing. So why not be at the barn and every night or once a week even, have this lot and have a tour, but all from the barn, so we can still have summer tour in our living rooms. After Sigma, I think it was after Sigma Oasis, when I was like, you know what, if this album's like this, think about, and then of course I saw the article that Trey did, I think it was for Relics, where Trey said, he's not interested in playing without an audience. So who knows what they're doing at the barn? They're definitely there. I know that they're definitely there. They're definitely doing something. We saw the photos, which are evidence enough. I also know that Fishman's drum tech was called up there a week ago, and so they're doing something, but
they're deliberately leaking it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that Fish has NDAs, and Fish is very, very strong about their secrecy, more so than the Dead. Fish is very strong with the secrecy, and so anything that gets out is a little nibble that they intentionally let.
Yeah. It's bait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all these guys feel like they got the break and scoop, or they got the pictures, but like you could look back at things like Cosvibe Vox, right? That didn't get out until the day of, right? Like I think they have a higher level of control than we sometimes think.
They make their caterers sign an NDA. They make their caterers have to sign NDAs. So my guess is that the only other option is that Bella posted that about Trey, and no one's going to ever, get Bella in trouble. And maybe whoever posted the other photo with Mike and Fishman and Trey, maybe that was rogue, and if so, they're in trouble. But I think it was intentional.
Yeah, I think it's intentional too. And I just want to circle back one more time too, because the most incredible sentence that's ever been uttered on the lot, I think, is I missed tonight's show because I was on an island doing mushrooms with Bill Kreutzmann. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's, I mean.
No, I didn't miss the show. I just didn't see it live. I saw it.
Well, yeah, okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mushroom Island with Bill Kreutzmann. We need to hear a little more about this, just a little more details.
I'll tell you more. I'll tell you one mushroom story with Billy that I have a million, but one that I've told before, and it got back to Billy that I told it, and he appreciated it, and that's that we were in Belize. He had this, I think it was probably a tats issue. Like he knew that if he took his writer with him, that he could do a tats write-off, and we could go to Belize on vacation, and he could write it off his work. So we went there. The idea was to go diving. We never went diving because he got the Wook flu at Fish New Year's Eve. He did. and he was in one of those boxes at Fish at MSG New Year's Eve 2000.
Does he go to shows? Is he a fan?
He doesn't go to shows. He loves Trey Anastasio band. You know, like he'll let me DJ sometimes, like especially if it's a dinner party or whatever. He'll say put on stuff, and before you know it, he always is like, "Hey, can you put on some Grateful Dead?" You know, and if I have Fish on, he calls it out, and he's like, "No, let's change this up," you know. And but with Trey band, he loves it. I think because he loves that New Orleans, he loves the big band and the horns and the swing and all that. But when we were down in Belize, we decided one day that we weren't going to work in the book anymore that day. We were going to take mushrooms and talk to the lizards that were in the front yard and, you know, like just have an experience. And so we do. And I got a little bit sick. And so I needed to run to my room to throw up, which I did. And in the meantime, I start hearing, and I took, you know, how you are in mushrooms, that time turns elastic and I'm doing weird things. And I don't know where everybody else is. It's him and his wife. And she's in the front yard, literally crawling around the yard, talking to the actual physical lizards that were there. And I hear this weird stuff, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I go up; it's on the roof. Billy was on the. He found a hand drum that wasn't his. It was the house that we rented, the Airbnb house, had this like weird little djembe, whatever. He took it. He went up on the roof. And I had because I would go up there every day to exercise, I had a speaker set up there and everything. And he had, I think it was playing music because earlier on when we first took the mushrooms, I put music on and it was on shuffle, whatever it was. I don't remember if it was on shuffle or not, but when he got up there, it was on sand, you know, some live version of sand. And Billy starts playing the drums along to it. And I go up there, I'm like, what's this weird noise? And I go up there on the roof, and it's Billy shirtless. He had ripped off his shirt, and he's playing this. And he had no idea who the band was, what the song was, but he just looks at me and goes, "This is great, brother. This is great."
Oh my God.
Wow. That's awesome.
I am so much more in love with Billy.
Yeah, but well, the thing is that normally
tell him about the song "Lizards" by the band Fish as well, that exists too as part of that story.
That would have been lost on it. Like when they were like, "Let's stop the lizards," I'm like, "That I'm not gonna even go there." Like
it's a little too close on the nose on that one.
But when I say that's the thing, is that saying the word Fish turns him off a little bit because he feels this weird competitiveness. And so as much as he appreciates him, he loves Trey, loves Mike as well. He and Mike are friends. You know. With Fishman, he told me that when he played Red Rods with Fishman, he likes him. He thinks he's talented, but he thinks that Fishman plays too light. You know, because Billy's a very visceral, very heavy, and he said that Fishman plays.
That's interesting.
So
well, he's got to compete with Mickey. He's got to bang those things, or Mickey, you know, kind of.
Yeah. But,
see, I always thought Fish filled, and I'm admittedly I'm a younger out of the group here. I'm one of the younger guys, but I always thought Fish filled more space and gave more volume than Mickey and Billy. Like maybe that's just like the way the music is and the intensity and what you're saying about David Bowie, but that's interesting that would be Billy's take on Fish, because like he can get some really good volume and he is very intense with his playing.
Yeah, well, I think Fishman plays a lot. Like he even plays those ghost notes. Like he plays a lot, but Billy wants to like. It's a physical thing with him. When he's playing drums, like he's slamming them, and Fishman dances on them. Fishman's more like, you know, like he's like a tap dancer.
Yeah.
He's just
jazz, like a jazz player in a sense.
Yeah, like a jazz.
I love those ghost notes.
And Billy's
gonna go defensive. I was like, "Whoa, back off!" I love it. No, sorry.
Well, the thing is too is that I mean I've been defensive of Fish with Billy a million times, and again he appreciates them, he loves them, but he's a jazz guy too, so it's weird because his most influential drummers are jazz drummers, you know, like Alvin Jones and you know, people like that. So
hey Benjy,
did you ever see Billy play with?
We got a question from the chat, and has Billy heard the 98 Terrapin?
That's a good question. I don't know, but I will. But it reminds me of something else that I'll tell because I've never actually really said this, and I don't know if I should, but I will, because I've been pre-gaming. It's fine. When J-Rad first formed, they were, I believe, and Andy might be able to correct me on this, I believe that they were never meant to be a band. It was like the Brooklyn, the New York Freaks, right? And they played ball.
Shout out Aaron Stein.
Yeah. And so, you know, I remember thinking, like, you know, I've been friends with Tommy and Joey for years. I mean, it's part of that East Coast jam band scene when they were literally no big deal. And
Brothers Tommy Past, Rana.
Yep.
You were writing about these guys before they were, you know.
Yeah.
Out of diapers.
100%. And Tommy plays in Billy and the Kids with Billy now, and so it's
very
all, you know.
incestuous.
But this was before. This is you know, before Billy and the Kids. And Billy told me. And so J-Rad played at the Brooklyn Bowl that first party, and it was you know, meant to, whether it was meant as a one-off or whatever. I started getting text messages, and I started seeing on Facebook about, you know, hey, these, you know, there's the show, they played Grateful Dead at Brooklyn Bowl, and it's Tom Hamilton and Joe Russo, and because I know those guys, I couldn't wait to hear it. But I started seeing so much chatter about how good it was that I was like, I actually really want to hear this. And Billy had a dinner party that night, and you know, like a little fiesta in the backyard. And so he looked at me and he goes, hey, can you get some music together and play some tunes? So I said, I played Grateful Dead for him, and we were working on Deal. You know, I'd be like, we're gonna listen to this year because of this to bring back memories. But I never played covers. I never played Terrapin Station by Fish for him, you know. And he typically is averse to those things. Like, he told me that the only Grateful Dead covers he ever liked was a reggae album because it reinterpreted those songs. He doesn't like it when bands, he doesn't appreciate Dark Star Orchestra, for instance. You know, like,
right.
He might appreciate that, but yeah.
And J-Rad takes it to a different level. I mean, Scott Metzger, of course, in Amphibian with Tom Marshall, who, if anyone hasn't heard, go back and listen to some of that. Great cover of Elevate Me Later by Pavement, which Trey later said was one of his favorite bands. So some good interconnectedness there between J-Rad and the Fish universe.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, absolutely.
That's part of the Fish cinematic universe. Maybe not as a
J-Rad
TCU.
But so I played, and Billy had this thing where he didn't know Russo's playing, but he knew that Russo was the guy that when Phil decided that he didn't want to pay the Grateful Dead drummers a fair share and wanted to fire them, that you know, hire him for further. So that's all that Billy knew about Russo, and he didn't hold it personally against them. But naturally, if anybody replaces you at a job, you obviously have this, like, you know, or think about girlfriends with boyfriends after you. You know, like, you might think, okay, great, I'm sure they're a good guy, but you know, whatever. So that's kind of what Billy had. And so I said to him, I said, listen, some friends of mine played at Brooklyn Bowl a few nights ago, and they played your songs, and apparently it was pretty good. Do you mind if I give it a whirl for this party? Like, I mean, and if you don't like it, just tell me, I'll take it off. But I won't put it on if you don't, you know, I just really want to hear it. And he's like, yeah, sure, give it a whirl. So I put it on, and he, after 2 or 3 minutes, he comes up to me, he almost like he didn't listen to me with like the preamble. He just was like, what is this? You know, they're playing off the end. And I was like, oh, it's some friends of mine from Brooklyn. None of them are Deadheads. They're all in indie rock bands, you know, jam bands, whatever. And I was like, and he goes, man, this drummer is so phenomenal. And I was like, and I didn't want to tell him that it was Russo.
He took your job.
I was like, yeah. And then he goes, man, these guys are almost better than we were. You know?
That is unbelievable. I wish they'd bring back Grab. I'm a big Grab proponent personally. Like, I loved Grab. Grab got a little bit of the, you know, Gordon, Russo, Anastasia. You know, man, that was phenomenal, and I'd love to see that again personally.
And I loved Grab too. I saw a bunch of those shows.
Thank you, Andy.
I loved them. I thought they were great.
I'm here for.
But Andy?
Benevento Russo, of course, of the duo.
The duo were great. Yes, that was
Marco Benevento also plays in Surprise Me, Mr. Davis, which would play Camp Harry. So anyway, just trying to connect.
I love having Andy and Benjy on, because this is like the most knowledgeable and nerdy the lot has gotten. Like, we've got.
I've been trying.
No, it's awesome.
I've been trying to find a lane for Tam to, like, I just want to be like, jump in. Tamara, jump in.
I just tried to like complete Benji's sentences, but it's at a whole different.
Tamara, what's your lane here?
My lane is that I'm
no pressure.
Talking on.
What do you think's gonna happen in the barn? Since you asked the question.
Oh, the barn. Yeah, that's
right.
Back to the barn for you.
Wait,
you
I'm sorry. Before we get to the barn, I want to point out. We'll get to the barn in a second. We have a half an hour to kill. Llama, our ghost llama, has been using the background. Okay, we had a bit the other night about the rooms in the game Clue, the board game Clue. And so throughout the night,
you were making fun of me for owning a Golden Girls Clue set.
I was.
Oh, that's
and
odd.
so Llama is giving us a tour of the Clue mansion tonight in his background, which I didn't notice until about 2 hours in. And
where you should have the weapons. You should have been holding up the weapons.
Well, if I would have known
he was in the library with the candlestick.
If I would have known,
yeah, you actually, you know, this is something that I haven't remembered for years. But I remember when with the Schweiss, when Mike Gordon at one point said,
"How do you pronounce the first word? What's the first word of that?"
Doniak. Doniak.
Okay.
Doniak.
Keep going.
You're right.
Only correct answer.
Yeah,
keep going.
Mike in 90. I mean, my first show was New Year's Eve '93. So 94.
Epic Harry Hood, by the way, for those scoring at home. Go back and listen to that, Harry.
Really?
12/31/93.
Okay.
You want to go, Chad? I mean, seriously.
No, I don't. No, I'm not going with Andy Gadiel.
Chad,
no
take
way.
out Andy Gadiel.
No,
sorry, I'm getting a little too excited. Go ahead, Benji. Continue on your story.
I have a question.
We're gonna go back to Tamara anyway.
Yeah, what's the barn? What do you think of the barn?
Or she had a question as well.
Well, I just had a shitty comment, but now that I got that out of the way, I want to know what everybody's favorite venue is.
That's a good question.
Merriweather, because it's around the corner.
Actually, wait, you get two. You get an indoor and an outdoor.
I'm gonna call on you to keep order on this, Benji.
Well, I want to go back to the Clue thing, but first to answer the question, my favorite outdoor venue might be, even though they weren't my favorite shows, either Telluride or Bend, because those are just beautiful, beautiful outdoor places. In indoors,
you get one pick. You don't get more than one. You get one.
You said indoor or outdoor though.
No, one.
No. He tried sneaking in a second outdoor out.
So my outdoor would be Bend, because it was just such a seamless experience where, like, you don't know, you're outside in the parking lot, suddenly you're inside. It's all mellow. It's just very West Coast, very small and very
Bend.
Yeah, it's very Bend. It's just so seamless and laid back West Coast. You know, like I don't even think I was searched on the way in. It's just laid back.
There's a river that runs through the venue that you can
Yeah, exactly right. And then indoors is tougher. I loved, because I grew up near there, I loved Hershey Arena. It's now called the Giant Center. And I think Bill Graham as well, because of being Bay Area, seeing Fish in a place, in a venue that holds less than 10,000, 3 nights in a row, for a few summers in a row, can't beat that.
What about you, Andy?
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. You want to go, Tamara? Is your question?
No, keep order.
Yeah, I can moderate it if you don't mind.
The Wook is keeping the order.
Robert's rules.
Perfect.
I will say that this venue here, Deer Creek, is my favorite outdoor venue because I think it just sounds so beautiful and perfect. And unquestionably, my favorite indoor venue is this one, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Because I went back and saw New Year's 2000 Soul Planet when they handed out wristbands to everybody.
Yeah,
lit up the room, and it was so cool. Whatever you think about Soul Planet, I personally love the song because I saw its debut, and what they did on stage that night was the best show on Broadway by far. I mean, without a doubt, and that like solidified that MSG is like home court Fish.
We're gonna piss off so many Hamilton fans right now. I mean,
hey, I'm not gonna give away my shot. and just say
God damn it, Andy. I just got that out of my head. And now it's back.
No, I did it. That was my bad.
All right, Chad. All right.
Eliza? Was it Eliza named after? Never mind.
I don't know, but Rise Up, isn't Rise Up a Direct Hamilton ripoff?
Oh boy, I did not mean to open this box. I'm sorry. When
go ahead and rip it off for Broadway Trey. Kev,
did Lin-Manuel write that from the Leftover Salmon song? Rise Up?
No, we're dead. We're dead.
All right, Wook Plus guys, just give us answers. Nobody cares about your explanations.
Merriweather, it's up the street from my house.
Indoor?
And, Hampton.
Good. Awesome. Ooh. Well done, Kev. Llama.
Alpine and MSG.
Nice. It's another vote for MSG. What about you, Chad?
Outdoor. It's hard to. God damn it. Gorge or Deer Creek?
That's.
Tamara's not gonna be
happy. I did too. My bad. You know, Benjy fucking inspired me to just like go for two. Like I was like.
What about indoor?
I'm gonna give a shout out to the worst indoor venue of all time because it just got demolished. It just got demolished. Auburn Hills. Because Tweezabella
went out.
Tweezabella? Wait, hold on. Time out.
Worst indoor venue.
The venue
of all
itself,
time.
but
the venue sucked. The Tweezabella was amazing. I was there. You're welcome.
I'm on Fall Tour 97 right now, by the way. I have like a friend.
What a great show that was. What a great
We're
show.
listening to Fall Tour 97.
Nice. Alpine.
Oh, you're both T's. Yes. Tamara.
Ladies first.
Yes.
Alpine and probably, oh man. Well, since the guys picked two, I get to pick two. And I'm going to say the Met and MSG.
Yes. I agree. What about,
East
all right.
Coast bias.
Travis.
I'm going Red Rocks Best Outdoor, and I'm going.
Of course you are.
It's not the Sam, but what's the Vegas, the UNLV Stadium in Vegas? I've seen so many good fish shows there.
Thomas and Mack.
The indoor.
Thomas
and Mack, thank you.
Thomas and Mack, yeah.
Oh.
There you
Thomas
go.
and Mack was great.
Good answer.
Good answer. 2000 New Year's, 2000 New Year, or not New Year's, but there was a 2000 run there.
Yeah. How can you go wrong with anything?
Velvet Underground show.
Right. How can you go wrong in Vegas?
Exactly.
With fish.
Exactly.
I have.
What
now
could
they
go
don't
wrong?
play there anymore. Now they only play the MGM, so they don't.
Those 2000 shows and maybe the 2003 shows were kind of wrong, but that's another story for another podcast.
So what the hell is Fish doing at the barn? What is Fish doing at the barn? Wait, we're not doing that yet? Okay.
No, because Fam's opinion might turn into Gumbo 2.0, and this could be a really good part of the show.
Right. No, it's not going to be that bad.
Go,
Fam. No, I'm trying not to. Okay, so Radio City for indoor. So that's like a little semi-flex because I was there for Radio City Ghost, and then the Greek for outdoor. I love the Greek.
Nice.
That's two good flexes right there, Matt. Radio
awesome.
City Music Hall and the Greek.
Well, you asked me the best venue. Tamara asked me the best venues. I got to come with correct here.
You might as well go like Nectar's and the Barn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
let's talk two indoor. That's two indoor venues.
Let's talk the barn. We got to get back to this because we got to.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So what are they doing at the barn? Is that the question on the table? And it's Tamara, you have the mic, and then I'll go after you.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that Fish is not predictable, and so I think that they know that they're messing with us. So I think that they're like, they know that picture, like they intentionally did that. But then I also think like, why would they do that and mess with us when we're already whacked out and like so sensitive? So I hope that I see. Oh, and then like the barn, Alpine, like is kind of like a barn. So I feel like maybe it's tonight.
Ooh. Interesting theory.
It's a good theory. I want it to be true.
I can see the Wooks or the brains. Or there's a conspiracy. What did we call it earlier? Subconscious conspiracy. Subconscious conspiracy is.
What about you, Andy? What were you thinking?
I wasn't as much. I was thinking that these guys are living their life the same way we're trying to. And naturally, they just want to play music. I mean, Trey has been putting out material pretty consistently since the beginning of quarantine. At the beginning, we got a lot of view of his cat. We saw his home studio. I learned about the app that he uses to record on his phone, Spire, which is a great app for anybody who's looking to record. I learned about that from the article. That's really fun. So he's always playing. He's gushing music, and he needed to get out of the rubber jungle there in Manhattan and get up to the barn. And I think they're all getting together to see what happens. They want to play music together. He's got all these new songs that he's written that he wants to play with the band someday. They got to hash them out. And I think what will happen is what happened in '96 when they were recording Billy Breeze, and Mike got on AOL Fishbowl as fake Mike and started chatting with people. They can't help themselves. They're just in the moment. And so they're going to play at the barn and make music, and then hopefully they say, let's share that with people, whether it's in recorded form or live form. Maybe there'll be guests on the show in the future.
I think it'll be recorded. They'll record something.
Well, everything's recorded. Yeah. Come on.
But
no, it'd be great if they came on the lot, though. That'd be fantastic.
Mike maybe would come on lot, maybe on like in a golf cart.
I figure if we have Tom Marshall and Andy Gadiel, that Mike Gordon is really the next step. There's
and Mike eats cue balls from Dirty Wooks. So
okay, all right.
On the barn point, though, I want to say how grateful I am that they're playing, at a completely selfish reason. Because if you guys think about between like New Year's Eve and or Mexico and summer tour, right, when it's just like 3 or 4 months off. And I love Fish. I'm sorry for saying this. Please don't hate me, internet. But how rusty they could be on that first show back. Can you imagine what the first show after like 400 days would sound like? So I'm glad that they're getting together to jam for no other reason than to just keep their chops up and the vibe going.
Would they practice before the show?
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, Fish is best when they've been playing.
Yeah,
and it's sort of one of those things. After all this time, it's even like shooting a little thing that we just did. Like you as a creative, you just want to get out and do something.
Creative angst. That's the entire point of all of this.
I have to get out and do this. Like you're like, I just want something. So I'm sure Trey's like, let me just call up the boys and let's hang out and let's play. Like let's at least get out of the house for a few minutes and do something.
I think one of the unfortunate things about this pandemic, I mean, I realize there's much more. There are things that matter a lot more than Fish with the pandemic. But from the Fish perspective, from that lens. One of the things is that they were on such a tear. Like they have just been, they've just been getting better and better and better and getting into such a groove that even though every show wasn't always the best show, at the same time they were, their trajectory was just, they were in such a sweet spot, and all of a sudden it ground to a halt. And as we know from the past, from the hiatus and then the breakup, after halts, they're rusty. And so I do hope that, and my guess as to what they're doing in the barn, I have no idea. However, I don't know that they do. I mean, that's always been Fish's MO. Maybe they were just like, hey, you guys, we're all going stir crazy. We're not doing summer tour. Let's play together. Let's get up in the barn. When they recorded Cinema Oasis, they said they didn't know what they didn't plan on making that an album. They were just, hey, let's join the barn and let's bring a producer in and let's jam and see what comes of it. So my guess is that even though their managers may have hopes, dreams, and aspirations for what they're doing right now, I think the 4 guys in the band are thinking of it as let's see, let's get together, let's play. Let's figure it out. Let's see where it leads. Let's jam.
Yeah, I think they need one. I mean, I think it's something.
Let's jam, baby. Let's jam.
What an awesome manager perspective. No wonder you're an awesome manager, Benjy. Man, no wonder Bill hired you, man, because that's like what a cool perspective from a manager. That's a music fan manager, man, and that's so cool to hear. You're like, do what you want, man. Come on.
It's funny because Bob Weir used to always say when there would be arguments with the dead, Bob, and I'd speak up, Bobby used to, and to this day I think probably still says, Benjy's the fan vote. That's what he said, that word for word to Billy would. He's like, Benjy's the fan vote. He tells us what it's like from a fan perspective,
Oh, man, dude. Now,
that's all
you know what?
That may be the best flex ever, Benjy, right there. That you were the fan. That you were the fan vote in that room, because I think we all kind of want to be the fan vote in that room. So that's awesome.
What amazed me is the fan vote's not. Let's be honest. Like if any of you guys are in the room, everyone would say the same thing. They just don't have that fan vote around them. So with me, I'm willing to open my mouth up and just be like, hey, you guys, you know what? That's cool, but you know what? Like, I was looking at a photo the other day that I took of Billy when Trey first showed up to the rehearsal, and Billy's sitting on his road case and it says Fish, and we posted on Billy's page, this guitar is gonna steal your face because it knows how to jam. And you know, he never would have gotten that, but that's a fan. It's a fan thing, you know.
That's heady.
That's incredible. That is like meta heady, right? That's like crossing, you know, streams like Ghostbuster style, man. That is like solid.
But the band members are never gonna know that. The guys in the band you can't be a fan of your own band. You have to be. I mean, Trey's a fan of Fish, but it's a different perspective.
Yeah, he can't be a fan of Fish because being a fan of Fish means you miss some shows. And then you have this longing and craving for it. And like when you're in it and producing it, it's just the perspective is so flipped. Yeah, you can appreciate what you're doing and what it's putting out to the world, but that fan perspective is just that perspective. Yeah. And bands need it, but they also too. Yeah, they can't be hindered by it either. I mean, they have to do what they need to do. And he said, I think maybe you're referring to the fact that he said, you know, we can't just do what people tell us they want us to do. We got to surprise people, keep them on their toes. I mean, even like the Halloween gags, by not letting people know, by creating mystery, it makes it more interesting. I don't want to know what they're doing at the bar until they're ready to tell us.
That's why I love that Tom always says that when, you know, like he doesn't want he doesn't know what they're doing for Halloween. For Cats at Vots, he and I went on some, we did a podcast the next day. And he was saying that he had more questions than the rest of us. He's like, I don't know about those. Who wrote those lyrics? I mean, he didn't know any. You know, he knew as much as we did.
Anytime Fish control the internet, I mean, I was impressed that they full on. Oh,
they planted those songs. Didn't the Dead stop playing Day Job because fans were not happy with the lyric?
I mean, if that was a qualification, then the you know.
Well, I've always heard I've always heard that they stopped playing it because a lot of fans complained about it.
Yeah, I imagine they complained. You know, people they didn't like, or they
the implication, right?
You know, you might be right. I listened to the audio version of "This Is All a Dream We Dream," the David Gans, Blair Jackson book. It's it's the voices of the band, or it's quotes from the band for 30 years of Grateful Dead. And there's an audio book where they have other people saying the lines, but it's kind of interesting. I listened to it like back and forth to work over a month, and I think they did talk a bit about like how Victim or the Crime was like the weird uncle that came out sometimes, and they weren't sure what to do with him. And but then there's some good insight out of that book.
It's funny when I've talked to Billy about Grateful Dead song lyric meanings. He knows, like, I'll tell him things that like I've read and things like that, and he knows he's never asked Robert. He never asked Robert Hunter, hey, what does this song mean? What is it? Never asked Jerry what's the content. So his perspective is no more informed than any of ours, which I always thought was really interesting. He thought like Sugaree, for me, I thought Sugaree was about infidelity. You know, like just one thing you ask of you, just one thing for me. Please forget you knew my name, my darling Sugaree. And Billy, as far as I know, still thinks it's about a drug deal. You know?
Well, I think you're both right. I mean, the song is about whatever you interpret it to be about. That's what it's about for you. I love the quote in the Grateful Dead movie, The Long Strange Trip, that came out, where they finally got to Robert Hunter, who's known as being an interview recluse and never gave interviews, and they finally asked the question, what's Dark Star about? And he's like, what do you mean? It's obvious. The transitive nightfall of diamonds. What's not? What else is there to say besides that? That's the thing. Intentionally ambiguous and subconscious conspiracy, I think.
Let people draw their own conclusions. Like what you make up will always be better than what they could tell you. So
it's the consistent theme to this everlasting spoof. I think you're right, B-Strong.
Exactly. Talking of clues, can we go back to Ghost Llama to what was the thing about Clue?
He's in the boardroom now with the knife. It looks like.
So what I was saying before about the Donny Edge Feist. when I knew that Mike was responding to a lot of fan mail, I wrote them a series of postcards, which I always got answered. Paige answered one, Mike answered one, but one of my favorites was I wrote to them and I said, "Dear Fish, I'm a big fan, whatever. Right now I'm in the middle of a game of Clue. And so far I know that it's Colonel Mustard, and I know that it's in the study, but with what, goddammit, with what?" And I got a postcard back that said, "Colonel Mustard," there's a pull-up on the front of the postcard. On the back it said, "Colonel Mustard in the study on the back of the worm."
Do you still have it?
I do. Yeah, I do. I have that one.
And
That's awesome.
Yeah,
is it as accessible as the goose thing from earlier?
It's not accessible, but I can pull it. I have
on the next show. Bring it to the next show.
Next time you come on.
There's actually one. So I wrote. They always are jokes. I wrote to them about Assface. I said, "Dear Fish, I used to be a huge fan of yours, but then I discovered this other band, Assface, and they blow you away. Fish, you guys suck. Forever an asshead. Benjy." And I got a postcard back that said, 4 words: your face, my ass. Signed, Mike Gordon. But then I wrote to Paige, and Paige maybe doesn't have the sense of humor. I mean, all of mine were trolls. They were jokes. And so there's a spice that Paige was playing the theremin on top of a building, a skyscraper in New York City, and it had a little thing about the theremin. So I wrote him the postcard. I said, "Dear Paige, I'm a big fan, and I love you on the theremin, but I was wondering what the position of the skyscraper has to do with the total tonality of the theremin as an instrument." And I was trolling him, whatever. And he wrote back very seriously. He said, "Dear Benjy, the placement of the theremin on the roof is purely for aesthetic reasons and has no bearing on the sound of the instrument. I hope this answers your question. Very sincerely, Paige."
Which in and of itself is the funniest way I think Paige could have responded to that question.
Yeah, "Dear Paige, lighten up."
The theremin made its
add some seasoning
times in rare form over the years, somewhere over the rainbow.
Yeah,
it was a fascinating instrument.
I saw it somewhere, man.
He did
Where
the
were
Star
you,
Trek
man?
theme at Red Rocks one year. He did the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
6. That's good. Good recall.
He doesn't have that anymore, does he?
I don't know that it's part of the standard rig.
He had to pawn it. He came on hard times. He was like,
so he could
he
get
was
another
hurting for
rack
like,
on his setup over there.
he had a little crack.
Are you
there.
talking to us from the venue?
Yeah, I was gonna say I
just went inside. That's
Are
our
we in the
10-minute call.
venue already?
Yeah, we're 10. I always change it to 10 minutes so we go inside.
Oh man.
Gates open. Just to let
well,
you know.
I think before we get completely off the rails and this deteriorates entirely.